What is, hey, Mike, what is the number for that again? Because I'm going to announce and tell everybody that it won't be until like later this afternoon.
These five are
Yeah.
the ones that have gas. Oh, these six. These two are companion pieces, I guess from the same developer, but they're all in the front.
Okay. All right. You know what the number is? Carm, I'm in the meeting. I got to call you back, buddy. All right.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay. One more? The Browns one? What's the Browns one? On what? The Browns one? What's the number for the Browns one? 1325. Okay, all right. That's why I want to make sure that's going to be her. Good evening. Today is Monday, December the 1st. This Committee of Finance, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is called to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Here.
Bishop, Cantwell, Ray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Casey,
Present.
Kelly, Warner, Valencia,
Present.
Santana, Sly, Spencer, Star, Welch.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have a second.
Thank you. As always, we're going to do guests first. And I believe the first guest we have is from 1440-2025. Do we have them here? Economic Development. All right. So, the first piece of legislation is 1440-2025 as amended by Council Members Welch, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance approving the addition of property located at 1301 East 9th Street to the Northeast Ohio Advanced Energy District, accepting and approving a petition and plan from a property owner in the district identifying a special energy improvement project, declaring it necessary to conduct the special energy improvement project, providing for the assessment of the cost of such special energy improvement project, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into an energy project cooperative agreement and a special assessment agreement to implement the project and declaring an emergency. And I'll read the amendment. The amendment is there is no legal objection to this legislation if amended as follows. In Section 3, in Section 3, in the first paragraph, at line 9, strike and previously reported to council and are now on file in the offices of the Clerk of Council and the Director of Finance set forth in the project petition to adopt it is adopted and confirmed, and that the maximum special assessments are levied and assessed on the property. And in the second paragraph, at line 6, strike the semi-annual installment of the special assessment shall be collected in each calendar year equal to a maximum semi-annual amount of special assessments as shown in the project petition. In the third paragraph, in lines 2 and 6, strike aggregate and insert maximum in both places. In line 8, strike certify a final and insert provided and amended. In line 9, strike which final and insert and the amended, and in the fifth paragraph, line 3, strike list and insert schedule. This was dated 11/14/25 by Mary Cornley, Assistant Director of Law. Director.
Thank you, Council President. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I am here with Rich Morehouse of KJK and Andy Wolschlager from TurnDev. I'm also joined by Bobby Bruno, who has been the project manager on this project. Bobby will be able to speak to our participation, and the project team can answer any questions around the project.
Good morning. So this is a PACE deal. Do we have slides by chance?
There's a presentation.
You have it on the tablets, I'm not sure if it's there.
Thank you. So this is for the hotel part of the redevelopment of the Erie View Tower here downtown in the Erie View District. And so this is for PACE financing, so property assessed clean energy financing, which is sort of a creative financing tool that allows property owners to get bank or other lender financing on their property for clean energy improvements. And kind of what makes this special is that they will be paid back on a special assessment over and above their property taxes. And so this is for clean energy things like solar panels, energy efficient lighting, low flow water systems, and things of that nature. And so the project, again, this is for the hotel piece of the Erie View Hotel, or the Erie View Tower redevelopment. There's also a residential and a commercial office component to this project, but this financing will just be on the hotel.
Thank you.
And finally, so the financing itself, it will be provided by Greenworks Lending up to $43,881,864, financed over a period of 28 years. It will be those sort of HVAC controls, building envelope, water heating and lighting upgrades that exceed energy standards. And the special assessment will be in semi-annual payments up to about $1.9 million. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Did your guests want to make any comments before we move forward? Fine, okay. All right, this was in DPS. Councilman Hairston?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the committee. We heard this in DPS, fully supportive. We are not strangers to this particular project. We've heard this project. It has been before us on several different occasions. PACE financing costs us nothing to complete, more so discussing the project and ensuring that, that it meets, some of our thoughts and goals that we've had over the few years of discussing this project, and ask the committee for full support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Welch. Did you want to close out on this, or did you want to make comments now? Okay, Councilman Brian Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I don't know your title.
Bobby Bruno, he's the project manager. on
All
this.
right, to Bobby. Part of this agreement when we did this was the community benefits agreement was going to be that Cleveland Public Power could be used where accessible. And over the course of the last couple of months, depending on who I talk to, that's not happening. So, Mr. Chairman, to Bobby, can you tell us where we are with this project being converted to Cleveland Public Power?
Through the chair, I can confirm that was part of the CBA. I will defer to the project team here on the status of the power company.
To the chair, Councilman Casey, that conversion is in progress.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I forget your name. We've been hearing that since we passed this, right? So instead of just telling us it's a progress, can you tell us what the progress has been, where we are, where we expect to be, and what the time frame is?
Sure. To be sure, the building is mostly vacant at this point, and what's been happening over the past year is demolition and pre-construction activities to be able to commence construction of the hotel. So as far as the demand for electricity, there's not much demand for electricity right now, or not nearly as much as if it would be occupied. And so considering that, and the hotel is probably a year and a half away from being completed and, being put into service. We're just trying to, the development group is just trying to prioritize those activities that have the most meaning to the project right now. And the project entered into the community benefits agreement and intends to honor the CPP. so-
Well, Mr. Chairman, to our project team, you're a year and a half away, and you're not using much electricity now, but obviously after the demo, it's all going to happen, right? And then what my fear is that you guys are going to be ready to use electricity, and we've had almost 2 years to get this done, and nothing's been done. And I don't know if it's a Cleveland Public Power thing or if it's a project team. Depending on who I talk to, you're blaming each other. But all I know is part of the community benefits agreement, now you're coming back to the city wanting something else from us, right? And we have not, and that was a big sticking point, was the use of Cleveland Public Power for this project as part of the community benefits agreement. And now here we are stuck, and we have not moved one iota on that community benefits agreement. So, Mr. Chairman, to our project development team, please tell us why we should be supportive of this when you haven't lived up to the community benefits agreement. And if I have to bring Cleveland Public Power in here, they're in the hallway, to figure this out or to settle this, we should. But I shouldn't be getting calls once a month from each side saying we can't connect.
To the chair, to the councilman, to be sure, we have a little bit of runway, I guess a long bit of runway to complete the community benefits agreement. We just ask for your patience with us, and we know that we can reach out to you, we can reach out to CPP, and, we feel we have a good base to do, enter into the negotiations and finalize the CPP power agreement. We just haven't reached that point yet. Just rest assured that it's in the CBA and we've committed to it. It will be done.
Mr. Chairman, or to Councilman Hairston, when we do a community benefits agreement like this, how long do we have to, in a project like this, for them to complete any portion? And this isn't just this project, but any portion of a community benefits agreement? Because if this is a 30-year deal or whatever it is, does that mean that they have 30 years to complete the community benefits agreement on any project?
I'm not sure if we have time for that, but
Right.
you want to answer that question, sir? Because, I think what he's looking for is some finality. I think if you gave some metrics to say, once the building is X, Y field, then maybe that will be satisfactory, but give some kind of metric as opposed to an open-ended, oh, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Oh, sure. What I meant to say to the chair, to Mr. Councilman Casey, it will be completed by the time the project is operational.
All right, so Mr. Chairman, to our project team, that portion of the community benefits agreement, before you get your certificate of occupancy, will have occurred, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman, appreciate it. Councilman Michael Polensek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman and my honorable colleagues, just to follow up, and I would concur with Councilman Casey, this is important that we get Cleveland Public Power activated in that building. This is an exciting project. I've stated at the table before that when you look at the downtown area and you look at what Erie View Gallery used to be and what it became and what has become, I think this is critical for that whole area to create jobs and opportunity. So there was a place that many of us would walk over during the day for lunch, or there was meetings, and there was all kind of activity, and you walk over there now and there's nothing. So that's why this is a critical project. So that's why I believe the council has been so supportive of this, because we see the opportunity to create energy once again to the west, to the east of 9th Street, where there hasn't been any. So again, I would hope you would listen to what has been said at the table. We're here to support. I'm supportive of it. I've been over there. I've walked through the whole complex, and I think it's very important for downtown. So I hope what you hear today, you take back and make sure you do everything you can with the Cleveland Public Power. So I'm here to be supportive, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Are there any more questions regarding 1440-2025? Seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1440-2025 stand approved. Please sign on. Remember, please sign on, because this is committee of the whole. When something passes out, sign on all of the committees that you represent. Thank you. All right, next is, do they have the companion pieces, or do they have, which one?
Not this project, I don't believe.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, next is ordinance number 1454-2025 by Councilmembers Hairston and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a grant agreement with the Greater Cleveland Media Development Corporation, DBA, Greater Cleveland Film Commission, or its designee to assist with the general operating expenses of the organization. And while they're coming to the table, I want to make sure that I let everybody know that 1325, i.e. the Browns piece, will probably not be held until this afternoon. So just want to make sure that everyone knows that that will not be heard until this afternoon. So anybody associated with 1325, which is whether or not council will accept the cooperation agreement that has been put forth by the administration, that will be heard later this afternoon. Thank you. All right, Director.
Thank you. I believe this one has a PowerPoint as well.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Oops.
Can you save it on a flash drive?
It might not be necessary. You're fine.
Okay.
You just, we'll go off of this. We should be good.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm here today with Bill Garvey, President of the Film Commission, and Grace Harrison, who's the Neighborhood Investment Manager for the Far West Side. Today, we're here on to contribute towards the Film Commission. They're an entity that has been around and founded in 1998 and have been attracting economic investment and job creation through film and media production for over 2 decades. And I will allow for Grace and Mr. Harvey to present on this project.
Good morning. So I'm sure most, if not all of you, are familiar with the Film Commission and their work in not only Cleveland, but the Northeast Ohio region overall. Bill will discuss more of the details of what has been accomplished in the last few years, but the piece today is slightly different to the grants provided in past years in that we are asking for an increase of $50,000 in the operating grant, just due to competition in the arena of media production. They want to do as much as they can in the area and attract more investment and just general increases in costs over the years that the entire economy has seen. So they operate in 3 main areas, one being advocacy for tax incentive policies at a state level for media production. They attract productions to Cleveland and Northeast Ohio, as we're familiar with, and they also are very passionate about educating skilled workforce for the productions that are brought to the area. So I will allow Bill to elaborate on all of that a little more.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. Thank you, City Council. Really appreciate your support over, the longstanding support over the last 25 years of our existence to bring more economic development to Northeast Ohio and Cleveland in particular. This year has been a pretty great year. You'll see a snapshot of that in that one sheet that I distributed. Over the last complete year, 2024, we produced $1.15 million in city income tax revenue, $1.6 million in sales tax revenue, and brought $77.8 million of direct spend to the greater Cleveland area, and also employed 2,926 crew and another 2,570 background actors for a total over 5,000 people working in this industry locally. We appreciate the acknowledgement that costs have increased substantially over the last 10 years, and that's why we're asking for an additional $50,000 to match that inflation cost that it's taken to do the work that we do.
All right, thank you. So we've been advocating for a while to be more supportive of the Film Commission. I think that they do great work. Just out of curiosity, what is the cap at the state level now? I know that they've raised it. Do we know what the cap amount is now, and what was it raised from?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It was raised and then lowered. So it was raised momentarily to 75 million, but it's been brought back down to 50 million. So we're at 50 million, which is higher than it was 2 years ago. And we get the bulk of the work. So over the last cycle, we got 99% of the approved productions to come to Northeast Ohio. Over the last 3-year cycle, we've gotten around 70% of those jobs to come here.
All right. But we need to keep advocating. I know that this council passed a resolution in order to try to raise the cap at the state level as well. It looks like we need to continue to advocate for that as well, okay? All right, I have Councilman Hairston. This was in DPS.
Yes, Mr. Chair, it was relieved for timing purposes, so I was not aware of the increased request amount on the piece. No one told me that. This is the first I'm hearing about it today, so I'll turn over to the committee to ask the questions. Thank you.
All right, and once again, let me state, I know we're going through a lot of transition, so if you need to have another conversation with them, let them know. I just thought that conversation that took place, but thank you for letting me know, okay? All right, any other questions regarding Councilman Vice President?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues, and to the director and to Bill. I can remember when we weren't doing any filming in Cleveland, so I see the benefits of it. I've been on the sets. I see the number of employees that have been hired and the people who are working and how it impacts our local economy. So I wholeheartedly support this effort. But one of the things I wanted to say, I attended the I don't know if you want to call it seminar, the program that was held at the Collinwood Rec Center, and I was really impressed by the number of people who turned out. That room was full of potential individuals who are interested in getting involved in the whole movie business, whether it be extras or just working on the sets, et cetera. But one thing I didn't hear, and I need to say this at the table, and I'm going to say it more often going into next year, is that I really didn't hear anybody thank Cleveland City Council for the support that we've given the Film Commission. I didn't hear that. And so I need to say that because so often the administration is thanked, but the council is overlooked. And I need to say that to you, Bill, and I need to say that to the Film Commission. We could be allocating funds for other things, but we believe this is important for the city. I believe it's important for the city. So I just need to say that. I'm not even going to belabor the point. Council needs to be recognized when we go above and beyond the call of duty to support something that we believe in. And council has believed in it. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a brief comment. I wanted to, through you, thank Mr. Garvey for bringing one of the workforce development workshops to Gordon Square, which was highly successful. So I think people know about the excitement of filming, but the workforce piece is really what motivates me to support this legislation today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1454-2025 stands approved. Please sign on. And if we need further lobbying efforts at the state, we need to know. So please keep us abreast, okay? Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, next one is ordinance number 1512-2025 by council members Welsh, Bishop, Slife, Hairston, and Griffin. By departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the directors of Parks and Recreation and Port Control to enter into a Seventh Amendment to the Lakefront Parks lease with the Board of Park Commissioners of Cleveland Metropolitan Park District to add the North Coast, Inner Harbor, and Marina to the lease.
What's that number again?
1512-2025. And I believe this was relieved by 3 committees. I want to make sure Councilman Bishop, Councilman Hairston, and Councilman Slife, did all you all relieve this from your committees? Councilman Bishop, did you relieve it? Councilman Harrison, did you relieve this? Okay. All right, directors, please proceed and tell us who we have at the table with us.
Good morning, Council President. Thank you very much. I am here with my colleagues and some guests. I'm going to turn this over to Director Francis to talk about the lease.
Good morning, dear.
Is that good? Or, I'm sorry, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner DeGennaro. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Good morning. I want to just point out that we have from Metro Parks, Kyle Baker, who's the Director of Real Estate and Legal Counsel, with us as well. So the ordinance would authorize a 7th amendment to the existing 99-year lease with Cleveland Metro Parks for the lakefront, various lakefront properties. Back in 2013, under Ordinance 504-13, the city entered into this lease with Cleveland Metro Parks, under which Cleveland Metro Parks has taken over all operations, management, maintenance, and programming of various lakefront properties. And at this time, Metro Parks wishes to add to the lease the North Coast Harbor and Marina, which previously has been leased to a private company called Oasis. And they no longer wish to continue leasing the property, and so Metro Parks wishes to add this to the lease, and they will be responsible for all operations, maintenance, and management of the North Coast Harbor and Marina.
Thank you. Directors, anyone else want to make any comments? Okay. All right. So this is pretty much just renewing the lease for them and just switching it to Metro Parks from the Oasis Group. That's pretty much.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
As with regard to North Coast Harbor.
Okay, all right. Any questions regarding 1512?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilman Mike Valencia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, to the Ms. DeGennaro. What property, what building are we talking about? Is it a specific building? Is it a?
Through the chair to Councilman Polansky, it's not a building, there's actually a map, should be a map in your
Where?
packet showing the location of the marina. It's the marina that is at North Coast Harbor.
Yeah.
West of East 9th Street. So no buildings, just the marina itself.
That floating marina, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sometimes referred to as the part of the inner harbor.
Okay, and what this is proposing now is that Metro Parks will take over that responsibility.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it was previously managed by Oasis, and Metro Parks wishes to take over.
For Mr. Chairman, to what period of time? For what period of time?
So
You said
through the chair to
99?
Councilman Polansky, the existing lease is 99 years. This property will be added.
Okay.
The original lease was 2013, so
Yes.
it will be, approximately
Thank you.
99 minus 12.
Okay, that's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And if I'm not mistaken, there's been several people that have leased that up until now, because I remember it was other companies that were subleasing it for a while too.
I'm not sure, Mr. Chairman. John, who's from Port Control, might be able to answer that question.
Don't be scared, press it.
Chair to council. It was Oasis Marina and then JIT before.
JIT before, that's what I thought, so it was several. Okay, all right. Councilman Brian Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to our presenters. I mean, there's really nothing here but water and 24 boat docks, correct?
Through the chair to Councilman Casey, yes, it's open water.
I mean, so what is it that somebody who leases it, like Metro Parks, what is it that, aside from just saying we're leasing it and letting boats dock, what else is there to do?
Through the chair to Councilman Casey, a lot of the property that we lease under the lakefront lease is open water, East 55th Marina, Edgewater Marina. So it's the same thing as those in the sense that we will have the right to operate the marina, expand, improve, maintain it, and invite folks into the North Coast Harbor in Cleveland.
All right, thank you.
All right, Councilman Anthony Hairston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a question to Commissioner and either director, whoever can answer. Does this restart the 99 years from this point, or is just the 99 that we enacted, you said 2012?
Yes, through
is
the
that still
chair.
in place?
Yes,
Through the chair?
through the chair to Councilman Harrison, it does not restart the 99 years. So this lease will come in at, in 2025, 26. The original lease was 2013, so it will be for whatever the math works out to be, 99 years minus 12 years.
Okay.
Will be this section of the lease. The rest will remain the same.
The rest will
The
remain.
balance of the lease, the terms and conditions of the lease, nothing else will change except to add this property in the year 2025 for the balance of the 99, or the balance of what's left on the lease.
All right. And lastly, through the chair, is this lease for all of the properties that they operate on our behalf? Or is this just specifically for certain areas? Do they have one big master lease that covers all of the beach parks, the other areas that they operate for us?
We do. Through the chair, there's one big lease.
Sure.
This will be part of that lease. The lease has been amended over time to add various properties and change certain terms of the original lease, but it's basically one big lease, and we just keep amending it to add additional properties or remove properties as the case may be.
Gotcha. And I asked that because I know that like Euclid Beach was done many years ago. That was before 2012. And then we've added, like you said, additional properties along the way through the chair, and didn't know whether that, each time we add something, does 99 years, they get the balance of what's left based on that? Is it what was the renewal has happened, or how that operates?
It's just as, through the chair, as properties are added, the term, like I said, does not extend additional years. It's just, we started 99 years in 2013.
Sure.
And as properties are added, those additional properties, the lease for those will terminate at the end of 99
Okay.
years. So everything terminates at the same time.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Welch.
Through the chair, thank you so much. I just had a quick question about whether Metro Parks had intentions of maintaining the lease, or whether they were currently looking for new ownership. Only because I agree with Councilman Harrison that when Metro Parks takes over many properties, we see a drastic improvement in the quality of those properties. And so it would be sad to see someone come over and take it. Not saying that somebody else couldn't do a good job of it. We just know that Metro Parks has a historical record of taking over properties and beautifying it. So just wondering if they were going to continue having this lease or looking for new ownership in the near future.
Through the chair, to
Commissioner.
Councilwoman Welch, they will continue to maintain for the balance of the lease. Yeah, they'll be responsible for all operations, maintenance, programming, and Kyle, if you have any comments.
Yeah, through the chair to Councilwoman Welch, it is our intention to operate it, self-operate it, Metro Parks staff, Metro Parks people. And so, yeah, we intend to fully self-operate and have no concessionaire.
All right. All right, thank you. Seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1512-2025 stands approved. Remember, this is committee of the whole. Sign all of the committees that you represent. Sign on there. Thank you. Next up is, hold on. Okay, next is 1316-2025. 1316-2025 by Councilmembers Starr, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin. An emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Parks and Recreation to execute a deed of easement granting to Cedar Redevelopment Phase 4 LLC certain easement rights in property located on East 26th Street between Central and Community College, and declaring the easement rights no longer needed for public use. Director and Commissioner.
To the chair, thank you very much. This item is related to the redevelopment next door to our Central Recreation Center, and I'm going to turn this over to Commissioner DeGennaro to talk.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Director. And just wanted to recognize Matt Schmidt, who is the Chief of Modernization and Development from CMHA we have with us this morning. So this legislation authorizes the city to grant a fire lane easement for the new residential development located adjacent to the city's Central Rec Center. This is part of the Cuyahoga County Central Surge Initiative. which was aimed at impacting an area between East 22nd and East 28th Streets around the city's rec center. The city, county, and CMHA partnered to improve this area, and the improvements include a new roadway, new East 26th Street, a new city park right next to the rec center, and a new 50-unit residential development known as Cedar Redevelopment Phase 4. The residential development requires a fire lane easement, and so the city is going to grant this easement at the rear of the city park. So it's really not visible from the street at all. The easement area is about 3,805 square feet. It's a strip that's about 24 feet by 150 feet, and it will allow for, like I said, a fire lane, and will also allow for better pedestrian access from the residential development into the city park and to the city rec center.
Thank you. This was relayed out of DPS. Councilman Hairston?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Heard in DPS, fully supportive. The individuals, they will maintain the one lane that they're asking for the easement rights for, and the city will be responsible for maintaining everything else around it, which is the normal way that we handle these types of requests. And so I ask the committee for its fully support. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Richard Starr, this is in Ward 5.
Yes, I do support this initiative. This is a great opportunity for the central neighborhood, aka Cedar Heights, for an opportunity for us to finish Phase 4 of Sankofa development, also including within that neighborhood area the improvements to our Central Bathhouse Recreation Center. So I do support this.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1316-2025 stands approved. Please sign on. Next are companion pieces, and we'll hear both of them simultaneously. This is ordinance number 1397 and 1399-2025 by council members House Jones, Hairston, and Griffin. An emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor and the commissioner of purchases and supplies to acquire and reconvey properties presently owned by RJL 2230 SA LLC or its designee located at 2230 Superior for the purpose of entering into the chain of title prior to the adoption of tax increment financing legislation authorizing under Section 5709.41 of the revised code. And then number 2 is ordinance number 1399-2025 by council members House Jones, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor and the commissioner of purchases and supplies to acquire and reconvey properties presently owned by 2202 Superior LLC or its designee located at 2202 Superior Avenue for the purpose of entering into the chain of title prior to the adoption of tax increment financing legislation authorized under Section 5709.41 of the revised code. And before I go any further, I know that I got a call from Director Bordeaux that this was something that was urgent, and the chair had some questions and did not have an opportunity to really go over this. And then also, I want to make sure that Councilwoman Stephanie House Jones is in support of this, because I wanted to make sure those two things, were you able to have those conversations?
My understanding is Councilwoman is in support, and I was able to touch base with
Councilman Hairston?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So please proceed. Tell us what we're looking at.
Thank you, Chair.
And please speak directly into the microphone if you could, so the listening audience can hear.
How's this?
That's better. Thank you.
Here with Rich Morehouse of KJK and Andy Wolschlager of TurnDev, and again, my reliable and amazing project manager, Bobby Bruno. Today, we're speaking on 2202 and 2230 Superior Ave. Excited about these projects. They are looking for a TIF, and that is how the city will be participating. And I will let Bobby speak to our participation and the project team speak to any questions around the project.
Good morning again, Chair and Council. So this is a chain of title legislation request, which is that first TIF piece. So this isn't authorizing the director to enter into the TIF agreement, but just to enter into the chain of title to demonstrate public purpose for the sake of ORC. So the project, it is 2202 and 2230 Superior. Those buildings are known as the Heller and the Keller Cone former textile buildings. TurnDev is the developer of this project, led by Mr. John Pinney, and they've done some other projects right in that vicinity, including the Cross Country Mortgage headquarters recently.
Okay.
So the project itself will redevelop just under 100,000 square feet in the two structures that are right next to each other. This will generate, if I move forward here, 100 market rate apartment units, 100 parking spaces, and a first floor commercial suite of just over 2,000 square feet. You can see there it'll be 84 one-bedrooms and 16 two-bedrooms, and it'll create 7.5 new full-time equivalent jobs in the city of Cleveland with an estimated payroll of 402,000. And the total project cost is going to be just over $45 million. This is that first piece of TIF legislation, so the developer, the building owner, and the Office of Equal Opportunity have been negotiating an expanded CBA for this project being over $20 million. Draft CBA has been produced by OEO and is under review currently. It is not the Department of Economic Development's intent to bring that TIF legislation forward until the CBA is fully executed. And in terms of the TIF that would be the incentive that ends up coming from this legislation, that would be a 30-year, 100% non-school tax increment financing. That would lead to an estimated increase in approximately $6.3 million in additional income, taxes, and payments in lieu of tax to the school district over 30 years. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councilman Hairston, did you get a chance to talk to Director Bordeaux?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Fully support this piece. Again, this is something that is not new to many of us. This is the first of two ordinances that will come before this body. First is the chain of title, then we'll come back to actually hear the TIF ordinance itself. This just allows for the process to begin. We have a team here who has a very proven track record of developing in adaptive reuse properties along the Superior Corridor, and who is very fluent in their the work that they're doing, and particularly with these properties. You know, and I love to see these old brick buildings and these buildings that line our streets come back to life. And this is the team who's making that happen all across the city. And so I ask the committee for their support. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Michael Polensek.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues, to the director and to the team that is here. These are under construction right now, correct?
Through the chair, yes, sir.
Yeah, because I went over there to see that both of them are being worked on. But as a result of these two, how many buildings now are under your control or under the control of the developer along the Superior Corridor now?
Through the chair to the councilman, there are approximately 4 buildings that are in construction or complete with some additional properties across the street that are future development.
By the same development team?
Yes.
Okay. And you have others scheduled or looking at in that corridor?
I'm sorry.
Do you control other properties? You're looking at other potential development there?
We are.
Okay. So from basically the old, what we call the old, now the Board of Elections, to basically the 71, 77 corridor. So you'll control most of the buildings in that stretch, correct?
Whether there are a handful, yes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Brian Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to TurnDev, who's your power supply on this project?
I believe, and we're going to be going with CPP, as I knew you were going to ask.
All right.
We
You
also-
believe, or who currently powers it now?
Do you know, Rich?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
All right. In the future, it looks like you're going to be doing a lot of development in the city. If we're going to be giving something, right, if you could just let us know when you come to the table who the power supply is
Understood.
for that project. Thank you.
Understood.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions regarding these companion pieces, ordinance number 1397 and 1399? Seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1397 and 1399, 2025 stands approved. Please sign on. Once again, this is Committee of the Whole. Please sign on to all of the committees that you represent. Here you go. Thank you. All right, next up is ordinance number 1456-2025 by council members Welch, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Parks and Recreation to enter into an amendment to the Property Operations and Programming Agreement effective June 30th, 2016, with Downtown Cleveland, Inc. as assignee of the Group Plan Commission to provide a restricted contribution to support the ongoing maintenance obligations at Public Square. Director and guest.
To the chair, thank you very much. We are here today to request, we are here today to request a Eighth Amendment to the existing Property Operations and Management Agreement with Downtown Cleveland, Inc., also known as DCI. Many years ago, as a part of downtown improvements, the city of Cleveland entered into an agreement with Group Plan, which was rolled into Downtown Cleveland, Inc. for maintenance and upkeep of Public Square. And today I have with me CEO Michael Deemer of DCI to share a little bit of information on the quality partnership that the two organizations have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you, Madam Director, and thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. This has been a terrific partnership between our organization and the City of Cleveland, really for the last 2 years that we've been responsible for managing Public Square. Prior to that, the agreement existed between the city and the Group Plan Commission. City transferred responsibility to our organization in 2024. 2025 was the first full year that we had programming and management responsibility for Public Square. And I hope that many of you had the opportunity to see the partnership on full display this past weekend. We welcomed thousands of visitors to downtown with Public Square lit up, the entire city in downtown activated, and a great partnership on display, not just in operating and activating Public Square, but in ensuring a really safe, wonderful experience for families across the entire city. We use 2025 to really try to make improvements to the safety, connectivity, and activation of Public Square. We worked with the city to install safety improvements. We increased programming on Public Square. We added a hospitality kiosk, increased safety presence through ambassadors, landscaping improvements, and those are the kinds of things that we're looking to build upon in 2026 as we continue to try to make Public Square a really welcoming place for the entire city, for residents, visitors, and workers as well. I do want to note that we, as an organization, provide a greater than 100% match to the city's investment in Public Square. So we make a contribution in excess of $500,000. The historic agreement between the Group Plan Commission, Downtown Cleveland, Inc., and the city was that both the city and our organization would put in a $500,000 match, and we were able to exceed that match in 2025 and hope to build upon that going forward. Thank you for the opportunity today. Thank you for the partnership, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Councilman Bishop and Councilman Hairston. You've relieved these to Committee of the Whole.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Again, I relieved it because this is a routine piece that we often hear, and I leave it to my council colleagues to vet the piece. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bishop.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we vetted this and we fully support this for passage.
Thank you, Councilman Brian Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman and Mr. Deemer, a week ago you sat here and told us, a whole different story about what DCI believes should be the future of the city of Cleveland. And then today you're going to sit here and ask us for $500,000 to match a $500,000 that you guys have already raised. And I understand, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Deemer and to the director, that this is a yearly thing. But if I want something done in a park in my neighborhood, I have to come up with $300,000 just to put new playground equipment in. And this city council gives you $500,000 a year to program Public Square. And I understand the importance to Public Square. But if, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Deemer, if you guys are able to raise $500,000, that should be plenty for programming for Public Square for a year. So if there's over $1 million a year going into just programming, and very, very, very little does the administration put into programming, into parks, into neighborhoods outside of downtown. And this is no disrespect to you, but at some point, some council members are going to draw a line in the sand. And unfortunately, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Deemer, this one's going to be for me, right? So this piece of legislation, Mr. Chairman, will not be without opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Michael Polensek.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My honorable colleagues, to Mr. Deemer, to the administration, is the $500,000, is that an increase or is it the same as it was last year?
Mr. Chairman, the councilman, this is the same as last year. It's
Same
the
as
same
last
as
year.
the several previous years.
Okay, so this takes in just the Public Square. What we know what it's more? Do we know? I think when I think of Public Square, I think of the 4 quadrants. Is it more than that?
Mr. Chairman, to the councilman, no, this is for Public Square itself.
Okay, to the administration, where's the 500 coming from? The 500,000.
Through the chair to the council member, I believe this money does come from the Economic Development Department Fund, and this was a long-term agreement that the city had with Group Plan.
Yes.
I would also add that a lot of the cost does include maintenance because they are responsible for the upkeep and the maintenance of all of that space, which does include grass cutting, brush trimming, and a variety of other things.
So, Mr. Chairman, to the director, so right now, Parks and Recreation, you do no maintenance on the square. Is that what you're telling us?
Through the chair to the councilman, that is correct.
Okay. The downtown, the businesses within the quadrant, is there any contribution from them to Mr. Deemer toward this?
To the councilman through the chair, yes. Our organization, as I mentioned, provides a 100% match, and about 40% of that comes from the improvement district and the surrounding property owners.
Okay, so does the casino contribute? Casino operator contribute?
Mr. Chair, to the councilman, yes, the casino does.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, and to Mr. Deemer, to the administration, again, all of us who grew up in Cleveland understand the importance of the square, public square. That's a given. But I will say, based on Councilman Casey's comments as well, I mean, we struggle, so the director needs to understand, and I appreciate the way you have taken a very proactive approach, Director, in looking at our parks and recreation, our facility. But as you make your tours, you can see what you're up against. As you commented when you were out in my neighborhood about the conditions of the parks and playgrounds and city facilities. So I want to be supportive of downtown, but I also want to be supportive of my neighborhood parks and playgrounds. And when I look at the Collinwood Rec Center, which is approximately 15 years of age, and not due to any vandalism or anything, just due to wear and tear, you know, I'm being asked repeatedly to replace equipment. I just came up, you know, had to buy a new refrigerator, had to replace the treadmills. I've been asked now again to replace additional equipment with my ward allocation. And I think at some point, we as a committee, we as a council are going to have to figure out how we address these growing concerns on our neighborhoods, our neighborhood facilities. I want to continue to fund downtown because I believe it's important, but there's got to be some balancing here. And Councilman Casey just expressed, I think, a growing concern, and many of us have here, about trying to get the administration to pay greater attention to what's happening in our neighborhood. So I'll leave it at that, and I appreciate, again, the Director, that you're taking a proactive approach and looking at some of our all of our facilities in the neighborhoods, and I hope something comes about from it. You know, I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see some changes. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I have Councilman Conwell, then Councilwoman Welch.
Thank you very much. When you mentioned through the chair programming, what kind of programming are you talking about? I mean, like over the weekend, the programming over the weekend, which was great and beautiful, and people were talking about it. They really, really had a good time there. Are you talking about that kind of programming? How many programs are you talking about?
Councilman, through the chair, we've activated Public Square with over 100 events and programs in 2025 alone. That's everything ranging from major events like the Winterland kickoff over the weekend to concert series, food truck events, play events, family gathering events, community events during the day, in the evening, and on weekends.
So you need to, through the chair, you need to give us a list of the programming that you're doing so that I can let the residents know in the community, then you'll get more people down there, which is very important.
Mr. Councilman, through the chair, we would happily do that, and I do want to emphasize that the programming that we produce on Public Square and that we invite into Public Square is all, you know, free, family friendly, and open to the public, and we very much welcome residents across the city and across the region to join our events at Public Square. So we would happily provide that list.
You know, Mr. President, he could forward it over to put in our newsletters with Joe Mazzoline, and I would love to put it in a newsletter. That way the residents know.
Okay.
You know,
happily do that. Thank you, Councilman.
Good. And you know what else, through the chair? If you could reach out to the schools, they need to be a part of that. The children, or you have more children activities and events right in the square. With the arts, it would be great. You know, we have orchestras is at the schools, marching bands at the schools, and then when they play there, they'll bring more of their family members to the square.
Councilman, through the chair, terrific ideas, and we'd be happy to follow up with you on all of those.
And you got to do it, because I'll call you, especially with the children. That's important. They have to be there. The other thing, Mr. President, I do agree with my colleagues. It got to be seamless. I mean, you can't walk in the Glenville Recreation Center. I put money aside a few months ago. Matter of fact, beginning of the summer. We never executed. I put my residents' money, not my money, my residents' money, I always say that, for workout equipment, and no outcome measures whatsoever, Mr. President. Nothing at all. They got to execute. It's my residents' money. And I got nothing from that. So we're going to take care of the square, which is important. It need to be seamless. But if it's going to be seamless, you got to take care of our rec centers. And for our quality of life, and Glenville Rec, Corey Rec, and then Coit Playground. Oh my God, you know. So Director and I will talk about that, and we'll take a walk through that area so that we can look at Coit Playground. I know I see you looking at me, but that's important, Director, for my residents. It's their money. And thank you very much. And if Director want to respond to that, that would be great.
Through the chair to the council member, I truly appreciate your comments regarding the quality of our facilities and our parks. As I've been here for just over a year, I've visited a lot of different facilities, parks, and yes, certainly Coit is one of them that needs a lot of attention. I think it's important to recognize that for probably over the last 10 years, we haven't had a reporting mechanism so that we could more effectively and efficiently follow up on maintenance items, nor have we really had any kind of useful life method which we could make sure that we replace things before they break. This money for DCI does come from economic development. It does not come out of the Parks and Recreation budget. So from a Parks and Recreation perspective, we will ensure that we spend our money to the best of our ability to ensure the quality of our centers and our parks in the neighborhoods, because that is very important, just as much as downtown. Thank you.
You know what, Mr. President, and I yield. In the director's strategic plan, you know, we should have preventive maintenance in there. I mean, some things you don't have to spend money on if you take care of it. And you do preventive maintenance on roofs and capital equipment, and that way the residents can save their dollars, and then we can have more money in there. And we also need to have, on another note, make sure we put in people with disabilities, as well as invite them to Public Square. They got to be in there as well, and that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Welch and then Councilman Hairston.
Thank you so much. Through the chair, I just appreciate all of my colleagues' comments. I respect them immensely. I wanted to just speak briefly, not as the councilwoman over Ward 3, which represents downtown, but as a former CMSD student and an alumna who was a black girl from Ohio City and went through downtown Cleveland to get to Jane Addams. And I took the 26 or the 32 to go to downtown, and then I took the 14 and the 15. And during the early 2000s, Mike Polk was affectionately calling us a Scooby-Doo ghost town. And before we had DCI, I can't tell you what that meant for a young girl who's living in the city of Cleveland to think of downtown Cleveland as a ghost town, to think of the place that I'm from and the place that I'm commuting through as a space that isn't welcoming for individuals, including myself as a student. And so I eventually went to LA. But while I was there, I thought about the immense responsibility I have to pour back into a community that poured into me. And just recently, I was at Fairview Park, which is next door to Kentucky Elementary, where I went to school, which is now near West. And I reminded those students of the importance of coming back home and the responsibility they have to pour into their communities. And I believe we can walk and chew gum at the same time. I think that there's a lot of work that we have to do around this city to make sure that there's equity and there's inclusion in our work. But I also think that when I'm going through downtown now, I have an immense amount of pride, and that's because of the work that you're doing. When I was downtown this weekend, I saw so many families. I saw so many students. I saw so many residents, business owners who were benefiting from Winterland. That didn't exist when I was growing up in the city of Cleveland. I had the fortunate opportunity to attend the kiosk opening. We also didn't have that growing up. And when I'm walking through in the middle of the night, when I'm leaving meetings at 9 o'clock at night, I know I can call on one of our ambassadors to walk me back either to my home or to my car to make sure that I'm safe. And so these are the number of initiatives among many that benefit not just residents, but benefits all of us who occupy downtown Cleveland, not just as residents, but occupy it as people who work in 601. right? And so I know that that work didn't exist. I know what it was like when it did not exist. I know what it's like to benefit from the resources that you're providing. And I will tell you that when I'm doing work in the community, in the Huff area, in the Kinsman area, when I'm working with our schools through SAYS, when I'm sitting here working on Fresh Fest Cleveland, I don't say to myself, oh, well, I'm doing this stuff downtown, so they shouldn't have it there. I'm carrying all these ideas with me to those spaces to make sure that people have them in other spaces also. And I think that that's important for us to remember. And we have to have, we always say Cleveland is a show me city. Sometimes we have to have these things present so we can see what's possible in other parts of our community. And I think that's made possible not just by your work, President Deemer, but also by the work of your team. And I'm glad that we've been able to partner with you all over the years to have a downtown Cleveland that we can all be proud of.
Councilwoman, through the chair, if I may, I appreciate the comments and the great experiences that you've had, but I really appreciate you calling out, taking out some of the ideas of things that we're doing in downtown to other parts of the city, because I think we see ourselves at the organization as city builders first and foremost, and we very much want to create models in downtown that can help lift up the entire city, and I'm glad to hear that council members are doing exactly that, so thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Hairston.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know this is off topic a little bit. Since my colleague, Councilman Conwell, brought it up, this is something I've been discussing with him for quite some time about Coit Road Park. Is a park that I've been bringing up for years since I've been here about the need for investment there. The last time that investment was made into Coit Road Park is when myself and the alumni group from Collinwood went and painted over the graffiti on the walls, the retaining walls around the park, and we trimmed the overgrowth of the bushes that hung over the basketball nets. And that's the last time there's been investment in that particular park, right? We'll cut it, we'll make the grass look nice, but beyond that, you know, there's nothing happening at that park. And so Coit Road is one of my last and final requests through 2025 is that we absolutely make sure, and I'm putting it on my colleague's shoulders, Councilman Conwell, to ensure that this happens and it receives investment that it deserves and it has needed for decades now, and there's no parking there. And so there's several city-owned lots that run south on Coit Road that we can turn into parking lots. That's an idea that I have proposed, to the administration some time ago. I've given it to Director DeRosa in the past. I've given it to Mr. Director Williams in the past. And so now, Director, we're going to give it to you and ask that you work closely with Councilman Conwell moving into 2026 to develop a plan to invest into Coit Road Park. It sits right in the middle of a very busy intersection there at Coit and St. Clair. And I can tell you that when we painted all that graffiti and cut down the overgrowth of the limbs, you had young people pouring into the park immediately afterwards, right? And so, unfortunately, nothing's happened since then. So I'll leave it there, and we just ask that the administration prioritize that park and invest into that neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Follow up, Councilman.
With Councilmember Anthony Hairston, I know we need to have the city seamless, and but when they see in the Collinwood area, in the Glenville area, other parts of Cleveland, children have a right. They have a right to go there with their parents and mothers and families together, and fathers and families together when they take their children just to go to a park. They need to be safe and clean, and they got to know that you care about them. They have to know that. And then when they see, as Councilmember Brian Casey was mentioning, we put $500,000. We're not saying that's wrong because it needs to be seamless, but you put money toward downtown, and what about them? What about them? Many children in my community, it's a lot of poverty there. But when they go to Coit Playground and other areas in the Glenville and Collinwood community, and they see glass there, and they turn around and say, people don't care. They don't care. And they pass Coit Playground to go to Collinwood High School, and they see trash and debris there. It affects them even with their learning. That's very, very important, and somebody got to fight for them. So I talked with Councilmember Anthony Harrison about it, and as well through the chair, you, Director. We'll look at it, we'll do timelines, we'll go out and get a bond for it, and we'll push it because you got to benefit the residents. You have to. And that's just where I'm at. I feel
Thank you,
bad about
Councilman.
it. Thank you.
And when you get a chance, please, go over them with the budget and make suggestions before the budget and have that conversation as well. I do want to ask council members, we have a pretty lengthy agenda regarding legislation, and I want to ask if everyone can really try to keep your comments under 10 so that we could try to burn through some of this legislation in a very expeditious way, okay? Seeing no other questions.
Council President.
Ordinance.
Just very briefly.
Go ahead, Councilman Slife.
I wanted to call out Nicole Carlton on her Irish exit from City Hall.
Yes.
Thank her for her years of service to our residents.
Thank you.
I told her she snuck out of here on me. Well, she's over. She's assistant director at DCI now. So, all right, thanks. Appreciate it. And thank you for your years of service, Commissioner. I know we didn't get a chance to greet you properly, but thank you for your years of service for the city. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, hearing no other questions, ordinance number 1456-2025 stands approved. Please sign on. I'm going to go out on a limb and try to bring port control to the table so that I could burn through a few more.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
You should have saw his face when you when you said that. That look on his face, he lit up like a tree. But also he looked a little confused too, Mr. Chair.
I'm trying to burn through some of the stuff first. To make him sit here all day. All right, this ordinance is ordinance number 1460-2025 by council members Welch, Slife, and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance authorizing the director of port control or other appropriate director to terminate the city of Cleveland's lease with the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum's original site and approving the consolidation of the original site and adjacent expansion site into a single lease agreement directly between the City of Cleveland and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum, Inc. Director.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I hope everyone had a great holiday. This item this morning will be presented by Scott Carr, Assistant Director of Commercial Business and Revenue. Thank you.
Please.
Good morning. As mentioned, this is a request to terminate the city's existing lease with the Cleveland-Cuyahoga County Port Authority for the original Rock and Roll Hall of Fame site and to consolidate the original site with the adjacent expansion parcel into a single lease agreement between the city and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. Both leases have the same expiration date of May 11th of 2091. The financing associated with the original site has now been fully repaid, eliminating the need for the Port Authority lease structure and allowing for direct consolidation of the lease agreements. All of the material terms and conditions of both lease agreements will remain. This is just simply a consolidation for administrative purposes. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Councilman Slife, this was heard in your committee?
No issues with this moving forward. This is necessary. We are prohibited by charter from selling lakefront lands. Therefore, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame leases the land on which it sits from the city of Cleveland.
Thank you. And that's the submerged land lease, right?
That's similar but separate.
Okay. All right.
There is also a submerged land lease.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Welch, this is in Ward 3.
Through the chair, no comment at this time.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1460-2025 stands approved. Please sign on. Thank you. Next one is ordinance number 1514-2025 by Councilmembers Slife and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into one or more contracts with Amadeus Airport IT Americas, Inc. to provide common use self-service kiosks for the Common Use Airport Operations Program, including hardware, software installation, and maintenance for the Division of Airports, Department of Port Control for a period of 1 year with 4 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Director.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This item is regarding an equipment improvement and enhancement of the guest experience, check-in experience at Cleveland Hopkins, and it will be presented by Scott Carr, Assistant Director of Commercial Business and Revenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carr.
So this is to provide 6 common-use self-service kiosks. The airport today has common-use ticket counters. However, none of them today have self-service kiosks. The kiosks will allow passengers who aren't checking bags to print boarding passes. In addition, if an airline allows self-bag tagging, as an example, the passenger will be able to self-bag tag or tag their bag and drop it off at the ticket counter. Amadeus is currently the only company that has interoperability between IATA standard CUS Standard 1.0 and 2.0 software, and so this will allow all of the airport's signatory airlines, regardless of what CUS software that they're utilizing today, to utilize these kiosks.
Thank you. Councilman Slife?
Fully supportive.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions regarding 1514-2025? Seeing no questions, ordinance number 1514-2025 stands approved. Please sign on. I believe that's all of Port Control.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it. All right. You want me to go to community relations?
Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you. Next, we'll go to ordinance number 1452-2025 by council members Polinsik, House Jones, Kelly, Santana, and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance authorizing the executive director of the Community Relations Board to enter into one or more contracts with Esperanza, Inc. for the public purpose of providing outreach services and programming for high-risk youth in hotspot areas in Ward 7, 11, and 14 under the Safe Streets, Safe Schools Project Program for youth for a period of 1 year with 3 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Executive Director of the Community Relations Board. Director.
Good morning to the chair and to the body. This is with the support of Councilwoman Jasmine Santana and her resources. We were in need of a partner, a referral resource center on the west side due to the increase definitely within Garrett Morgan's numbers, within John Marshall's numbers, within Rhodes' numbers, and as well as those returning youth from the Ohio DYS and juvenile court area. With Esperanza, what we hope to do is work with their youth leadership programming, which will be focusing, helping young people with their GED, as well as some of their tutorial services, as well as job help, filling out applications and so forth, and mentoring services. So the teams that are out in the streets have another referral source within the West Side.
Thank you. I'll start off with Councilman Polinsik. Councilman Polinsik, did you have any comments on this piece of legislation?
Mr. Chairman, I spoke to the director. I wholeheartedly support it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Santana.
Thank you, Council President. Council President Director, thank you for giving that background. So this was the last of our neighborhood equity funds for Ward 14. So I am sure every council members could agree that this summer was hot with gun violence and car break-ins. And so this 100,000 allocation really is in response to that. I think if we offer more opportunities and pave the way for our youth, then we could probably keep them off the streets. So as you know, Esperanza's been around since 1980, and they've been doing great work. So we thought that was the perfect partner along with Community Relations Department to be able to service youth this upcoming year. So thank you. I do have a question. I'm not sure why other wards, which I welcome to service other areas, but I am not sure why other wards are listed on this when it's like Ward 14
Councilwoman.
initiative.
Or Director.
To the chair, to the councilwoman, I think some of it was too, we were trying to figure out the new ward designs at the time. So we were trying to figure out the new ward numbers to make sure, because we were pushing it for this year and going into next year to make sure we were covering all the appropriate areas.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments on ordinance number 1452-2025? Seeing no questions, ordinance number 1452-2025 stands approved. Please sign on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is, if somebody could summon the utilities chair. Next is ordinance number 1494-2025 by council members Casey, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance determining the method of making the public improvement of designing and constructing local renewable power projects for the Division of Cleveland Public Power, and authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to enter into one or more public improvement contracts for the making of the improvements, enter into one or more professional service contracts and other contracts needed for the making of the improvements, to apply for and accept gifts and grants, and authorizing the direct employment of the necessary labor for the Department of Public Utilities for contracts executed no later than December 31st, 2030. Director?
Yes, thank you, Chairman, members of council. At the Division of Cleveland Public Power, we continue to aggressively pursue any opportunities for partnership in the development of renewable power generation. There have been some recent changes in the investment tax credit, which have evolved into some other potential opportunities. We did get the support from the law department to get this through kind of late in the game, so do appreciate them and certainly to council for hearing it today. Hopefully, it will result in some opportunities for funding to do a feasibility study, site location, as council's well aware. And has pushed CPP continuously to seek and strive for a more diverse power supply, renewable power supply owned by the customers of CPP, and we believe this ordinance would help us in that goal, and the commissioner certainly is the champion of this ordinance.
Thank you.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Councilman Casey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as you know, I'm not one that usually likes to bring things to committee of the whole, because that means we didn't thoroughly 100% vetted. However, I did have conversations with the director and the commissioner regarding this piece, and I would like to offer some amendments to the legislation, if we could. In Section 1, line 14, it should read 12/31/2027. Section 2, line 5, it should read 12/31/2027. And Section 3, line 10, it should read 12/31/2027. If they can't get this done within 2 years, then there should be no reason that we should be pursuing it any further than that. And then, in addition, under Section 8, line 5, if we could add the Director of Public Utilities shall notify this council through its clerk of any funds accepted under the authority of this section on receipts of each award. And then in the title line of the legislation, very last line should read December 31st, 2027, as opposed to 2030.
Okay.
And I have them written out for the law director.
So does the law director have those? And can you get those?
Thank you.
Okay, an amendment was put forth by Councilmember Casey. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Polinsik has seconded. Is there any discussion regarding the amendments put forth by Councilman Casey? All right, seeing no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The amendments carry. And the law director has the official copy of the amendments. And we'll proceed with hearing anything else regarding 1494-2025.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Michael Polinsik.
Mr. Chairman, to the Director and the Commissioner. So at this point, there is no cost to the consumers, to the customers.
Chairman and the councilman, that's correct.
Okay. And I want to say that because we know that as we all want to see renewable energy sources, there's been a historic concern as it pertains to increased costs to our customers as a result of moving toward the green energy supply. I just want to make sure that the administration is very mindful of that fact, that I want to make sure that our rates remain competitive in the city of Cleveland. We want to see renewable sources, but at the same time, I'm very much concerned about the cost, utility costs for our citizens across the city, whether it be Cleveland Public Power, whether it be water, whether it be WPC. I want to make sure that we are all mindful of that fact as we march toward different ideas and concepts. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, ordinance number 1494-2025 stands approved. Please sign on.
Council
Thank you.
President, can I get a miscellaneous?
Miscellaneous?
Yeah.
Please.
Oh.
Yes. As amended, sorry,
As amended.
1494-2025, as amended, stands approved.
Okay, thank you,
Please
Council
proceed,
President. I
Councilwoman.
will be brief. Through the chair, Director, we've been getting a lot of calls with this utility shut-off. CHN lost funding, and so now Steph Forward is handling the utility application. I'm just curious to know, through the chair, what is the state of disconnections, and what could we do to kind of improve that process? It's very unclear to me where people go, where they call.
Thank you. Through the chairman to the council members. So we still have a relationship with CHN contractually from the Department of Public Utilities, thanks to council's support. So we would still be doing the City of Cleveland utility assistance programs and the affordability program. The moratorium is still in effect. So in its essence, when council was aware and hopefully supported, and the mayor put the moratorium in place there the first week of November, all severance activities were ceased. So when we do reinstitute, and we have not made that determination yet, and certainly council will be informed, that will reinstitute the entire severance process, which would mean the shut-off letter, the 30-day wait before another letter, and then the door hanger. So anybody who is currently facing shut-off or disconnection or an arrearage, we do recommend that they reach out to us. We still have very flexible payment arrangements at the Division of Cleveland Public Power and at the Division of Water with no penalties, no interest, no fees. But as we reinstitute, the most important thing to do is if you get a letter affecting disconnection or saying that there is a possible in-severance process, to reach out to us.
Okay.
And we'll do our best to accommodate. The changes at CHN, and I know that there have been many, and that's true throughout our social service agencies and the amount of help. So that's our number one priority is to be cognizant of that fact and work with every customer to try to maintain service.
Got it, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Casey.
Mr. Chairman, just so that the council's aware, I think it's January 18th is we're going to have a hearing on moratoriums and shut-offs and that stuff through Cleveland Public Power. No, January 18th. We won't be here then in December. So just so the council's aware, you know, we will be having a hearing on that in January.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Rebecca Moore.
Thank you. I really understand the need to keep the miscellaneous short, but if this wasn't an urgent need, could you provide an update about the rewiring of the lights around 55th and Broadway? Those have been out for quite a while, and last we talked, you were talking about end of November to get them back on. I'm wondering if you could provide an update through the chair.
Sure. Through the chair, I guess brief recap is we had about 4,000 feet of wire stolen from that area. Shortly thereafter, we had sections stolen along Broadway and then up towards 9th Street. So this has been a pretty widespread issue for us that we've been fighting to get under control. When I sent that email, we had initially planned on coming in through a different direction. We were not able to do that, so we had to pivot. I think we have a solution to better secure the underground, but we have to do that first. I will say I know the crews are probably out there today, actually. The last few weeks, we have been re-pulling cable. So I don't have a specific ETA, but my belief is it will be before the end of the month. But again, that assumes that this solution can help keep that cable on the ground where it should be.
Yes, so to be clear, the lights are not on, and you do not have a path to turn them on, and the earliest might be the end of the month through the
Not
chair.
all, yes. Some of them, because again, it was a big area that was affected. We've been able to get some of them back on, but that intersection is still out.
Okay, all right, thank you. I appreciate the update. As you know, this, I mean, it's not just my ward, it's multiple wards, and, you know, as you said, this was the result of thefts, and I think we all understand, but I think the public is owed an update about the sort of timeliness and urgency, so I thank you for providing that today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Casey has a follow-up amendment.
Mr. Chairman, to the Law Department and Director, we found one more. It's in Section 5, line 16, should read 12/31/2027 as well.
Councilman Casey has put forth an amendment. Do we have a second? Councilman Starr is seconding. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you so much, Director.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're going to go to Public Health. If Public Health, are they here? Public Health. Okay. Commissioner Ordinance number 1464-2025 by council members Conwell and Griffin by departmental request. An emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Health to enter into one or more contracts with the Merrick House Friendly Inn Settlement, West Side Community House, Lexington Bell Community Center, Birthing Beautiful Communities, the Metro Health System, Ronald White, DBA, the Transparency Project, Case Western Reserve University, and other organizations to provide Moms First services to women at risk of poor birth outcomes in the city of Cleveland for a period of 1 year. Director or Commissioner.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Griffith. And thank you to council members. We are always thankful and grateful for the support that Cleveland City Council allows us to have for this program. As you are aware, the City of Cleveland funds for Moms First makes up around, depending on the year, between 18 and 20% of our overall funding. The majority of our funding comes from a federal grant from Healthy Start, which year to year is sometimes under pressure due to potential cuts at the federal level. And so we are very grateful to have the City of Cleveland be able to support this program continuously. This is our regular request for general fund usage, which allows us to round out some of our contracts with providers that provide community health workers that do home visiting for pregnant moms, babies, and also dads. We utilize several community organizations for this throughout the year. And with that, I'll leave it at that. I have Khadijah Fair here, our Moms First Project Director. We are willing to answer any questions about the legislation that you might have.
Thank you. Councilman Conwell, you relieve this out of health?
Definitely. Well, you know where I'm at with that. I mean, that's first thing first. Mothers and families together. And you mentioned the dads, too. You have to have the fathers engaged, and engaged fatherhood is very, very important. I mean, that's how the children, when they grow up, when they have their dad engaged, and father-child bonding is very, very important to me. And when you said that you guys were there on that, then I'm there 100%. But you gotta have those dads there. You got to. You know, I'm gonna say this, when a little boy and little girl grow up and they're connected with their dad, then they know how to, especially the young girl, how to have a good mate and good relationships with her husband in the long run. That stuff is important for me. So with that, I ask my colleagues to approve this legislation. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Are there any other questions? Councilwoman Welsh?
I just want, through the chair, I just want to thank you for the work you're doing. Just a quick question. How are you disseminating the funding to make sure that that funding is disseminated equitably among the organizations?
Through the chair to the councilwoman, the funds that we utilize we have been contracting with the majority of these organizations for a number of years. We make sure that we have representation from all sides of town to cover the entire city of Cleveland. We also make sure that we are giving special accommodations for different populations, including women who might be incarcerated at the county and city jail during their pregnancy. We also make sure that we have representation of all cultures and accessibility to information appropriate to language, information appropriate to culture. We participate in multiple trainings and updates for all of our staff. And also within the last 4 years, the program itself has been integrated from the health division of the Public Health Department into the Health Equity and Social Justice Division, which is responsible for health disparities, as also stood up in response to addressing racism as a public health crisis.
Through the chair, another question I have is, thank you for that, but also, can you just describe some of the tangible ways? I know when I was working with RTA, we were working with a number of these organizations because transportation was an issue. What are some of the ways that we can tangibly see that these dollars are being put to use besides just, oh, we're providing trainings, oh, we're picking up the phone calls? I just think that that would be helpful for people to understand.
Through the chair to the councilwoman, if I understand your question, is to better understand a little bit of how the dollars are spent and how these services benefit participants. So we provide community health workers as well as case management to individuals and families, including moms, dads. Community health workers begin to do home visiting during the pregnancy and stay with that family until the baby is about 18 months old. Providing, when it comes to transportation, we have special agreements with RTA to be able to provide passes. We also are able to utilize rideshare, Lyft, anything that is a little bit more modern, and some of our programs are able to provide gas cards. We do also provide emergency grocery cards, items like diapers, clothing, all of the equipment that you would need for a new baby, including safe sleep kits, which one partnership that I'm very proud of is that we also provide safe sleep kits to our fire department. So when they're out on calls and they discover that there's a baby that doesn't have a crib to sleep in, they can just run a safe sleep kit with a pack and play out to the family. And so there's a number of ways, but first and foremost is that individual connection of service to family and coming to the home to meet people where they are.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
You know, Mr. President, let me do one quick follow-up real quick. I got to.
I know,
When you, through the chair, you said you visit the jails, right? For the mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you visit the jails for the dads as well?
Through the chair to Councilman, right now, our fatherhood program is concentrated on the juvenile detention center. Our Moms First program, as well as Centering Pregnancy, is in the women's jail. But in terms of visiting the detention center, he's providing parenting programs for both male and female youth that are incarcerated at this time, but also seeing the young dads that are there as well. But also then outside of the community, once people are released, then they have that additional follow-up as well.
Right. So when the fathers are in jail, for point of clarity, we talk with them as well. Is that correct?
Right now, we don't, but there's another resource that we connect to through the county that does.
They talk with the dads. Because it's important when they get out of jail that they have relationships as well, so that a lot of times when dads have relationships with their children, they don't want to go back to jail because they become more nurturers like their significant others. Let me say that. And then even in the hospitals, when you do how like boot camp for dads is in there, when that first thing that the fathers did, it cut the umbilical cord, then the daughter would feel the power of her father, and the same thing with the young boy through the chair. Because you got to get that, you got to get them involved in that. That's important. Because a lot of times they're left out. They're left out, and then you wonder why they're going elsewhere through the chair to the commissioner.
Thank you. We'll make sure that you contact with Councilman Conwell on that, because I think he has a lot of great ideas that can probably help you
He does.
engage with that, okay? All right, and Ms. Farrell, where were you at before you were here again?
I was at Cleveland Transformation Alliance.
Okay, that's what I thought, okay.
Cleveland where?
Transformation Alliance with the schools, the Transformation Alliance. Okay, thank you so much. All right, seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1464-2025 stands approved. Remember, I'm trying to burn through as much as possible if we could, because I know we got a very busy afternoon, and I want to make sure that we have sufficient time for some very hot topics that many people are looking forward to. All right. Next one is, and I'll be getting to economic development in a second, but I do want to knock down this safety piece. Ordinance number 1403-2025 by Council Members Polinsik and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Safety to apply for and accept a grant from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services for the FY26 Recovery Ohio LEF grant program to provide funding for the operation of the Cartel Gang Narcotics Laundering Task Force. Director and team.
Morning, Chair, Council members. As stated, this grant, the purpose of the grant will provide funding for the operation of the Cartel Gang Narcotics Laundering Task Force. The Cleveland Division of Police is the lead agency of this multi-agency task force, and the funds will be spent accordingly. Personnel $45,101.50. Travel, $5,845. Equipment, $3,945. Supplies, $4,000. Other, $3,000. Confidential funds, in the amount of $43,108.50 for a total of the $105,000. The grant award is in the amount of $105,000, and the period is from May 1st of 2026 through April 30th, 2027. This does not have a matching fund requirement. And I have Sergeant McNeely to my left here for any stats that the council members may have. And also to my right is Don Hartsong, our grants administrator.
Thank you, Councilman Polinsik. Before we hear from anybody else.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I reviewed the legislation. I wholeheartedly support it.
Thank you. Sergeant McNeely or anyone want to make any comments?
Good morning, everyone. I would just want to point out that the grant funds for the task force, without those funds, the task force wouldn't be able to operate in the effective manner that it does.
Thank you. All right, any questions regarding ordinance number 1403-2025? Seeing no questions, ordinance number 1403-2025 stands approved. Thank you so much. We will go back to economic development. And I do believe we have a guest. 1411-2025 by Councilmember Santana, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor and the commissioner of purchases and supplies to acquire and reconvey properties presently owned by TW58 Cleveland LLC or its designee, located at 1200 West 58th Street, for the purpose of entering into the chain of title prior to the adoption of tax increment financing legislation authorized under Section 5709.41 of the revised codes. Director Bordeaux.
Thank you, Chair. Excited about this one as it aligns with some of the city's core economic development priorities. It's reactivating underutilized property, it's catalyzing private investment, it's supporting neighborhood revitalization goals by increasing residential density, ground floor activation, and improved pedestrian experience. With me, I have Dave Fishback, who's a partner in the project, and Ken Kalinchuk, who is with PMC. And I also have Bobby, who will help kind of go through our participation as a city.
Please proceed.
Good morning. So this is another chain of title piece ahead of TIF. So this is for the property at 1200 West 58th Street, which is the old Westinghouse plant that kind of is really like a landmark that sticks out if you're driving west on the Shoreway out of downtown. And so it's local developers based here out of the city of Cleveland, Mr. Fishback, as well as Mr. Liam Fishback, and Mr. Jim Rusnov are the development team. And the Crowco will be the construction manager for this project. They all have some development expertise here in Northeast Ohio, including being the contractor on projects like the Tinnerman Loves and the Worthington Yards project, for example. So the property, this is 113,000 square foot former industrial building across 8 stories, built in 1898. And it's got industrial zoning, so the housing obviously will fall much less intense than that. On the project, the project is split into phases 1A and 1B. 1A comprising 106 market rate apartment units, as well as 10 workforce. And 1B would have 30 market rate apartments. And then you can kind of see on the photo that structure on the left, just the facade of the existing structure still exists, and it will kind of be a new building built behind that historic facade. And that will be 23,000 square feet of commercial office, retail, and cafe, with creation of 5 new full-time equivalent jobs through the development, not counting what will be created through the end users on that commercial space. This is an $81 million project. Similar to the last presentation we had, the CBA is under negotiation between OEO and the developer, and we will not bring that final TIF legislation forward before that is finalized and fully executed. And so the TIF for this is a 30-year, 100% non-school funded tax increment financing that would net an increase in $23.3 million in income tax revenue and payments in lieu of taxes to the school district over its term. And with that, happy to answer questions anyone may have through the chair.
Before we go to questions for the council, Councilman Hairston, did you have any comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We also relieved this piece after speaking with the director. This developer also needs to lock in their evaluation for 2025. Fully support. Again, this is the first of two pieces that we'll hear. So they will be back to the table to actually discuss the TIF portion ordinance of this what we're hearing today. And so this again only allows us to enter into the chain of title so they can continue the process. Not a cost to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Jasmine Santana, this is in your ward. This is ordinance number 1411, which is. Oh, it's Ward 15. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Councilwoman Spencer.
Although I always defer to Councilwoman Santana if she'd like to say a few words. But thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, this is the Westinghouse building, and many people in the community are familiar with it because it is so visually prominent. Heading westbound on the Shoreway towards Edgewater Park, it is an abandoned or formerly abandoned industrial building, and many people have dreamed of breathing new life into this structure, and this is the development team that is finally going to be able to deliver on that. I am pleased to support this chain of title piece of legislation, and as Councilman Hairston noted, the next step in legislation will happen next year. It'll be the new councilman for Ward 7 who will be speaking to that piece at that time. And I think the development team has been doing a terrific job negotiating their community benefits agreement, so I have really every confidence that it will be a very strong CBA that meets a lot of community needs and that really formalizes the development team's commitment to the neighborhood. So I'm very optimistic that the discussions that are underway will lead to a very beneficial outcome, and happy to support in any other way I can. Thank you.
Thank you. I would ask if Councilwoman Spencer can be added to this, because right now she's not on 1411.
Okay.
So that's
Thank
why I
you.
want to make sure that she's added. That's why I didn't acknowledge her in
Okay.
the comments, but if you can make sure she's added to that, it'd be great, okay?
Thank you.
Councilman Michael Palenci.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues, to the administration, the developer. I mean, I think to the viewing public, this is a good indication how long projects take. Jenny Spencer worked very hard on this, and I want to commend her. But this is also, I can remember Matt Zone talking about this property. So when you talk about how long it takes to put development projects together, this has been at least a decade in development, if not longer. So my question is this, briefly. What are the rents? When you say 10 workforce apartments, 8 studio, 81 one-bedroom, and 17, what are the rents set to be in a building?
Through the chair to Council Member Polensek, the rents I'm happy to send to you after the meeting. I don't have them in front of me.
Okay.
The building is mostly market rate, is not subject to the new CRA. It's grandfathered under the new CRA. As
Okay.
part of the CBA, we are providing 10 units at 120% AMI.
Right. Yeah, if you could send those to us. Besides the TIF, is there any other city money to the administration in this project?
Through the chair to the councilman, this will be subject to residential CRA tax abatement.
So it'll be the 15-year, correct?
Correct.
Tax abatement. So other than that, the TIF and the tax abatement, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so there's no other funds, city funds in here?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. There was a pre-development grant for $32,000 that went towards their brownfield remediation of, that was
Okay.
probably about a $500,000 project.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I want to say this, and because continuing what Director McNair used to do, these are very helpful. And when you give this to council, it always is good to give this to us in the executive summary because it shows what our return on investment will be. And it makes it clear when you go to talk to the public to say, this is how much we're foregoing in taxes, but this is how much we're receiving in income tax, which goes to our general revenue budget. So this is a very good document for you to share with us. And this is always over, because I want to make sure that I'm always correct when I talk to other council members, this is always over a 30-year period. So, for example, CMSD will benefit $23.2 million in local new income tax over that 30-year period, right? Okay. So just want to make sure that council knows why that's so important, because it helps measure our economic development deals and what we should be getting in revenue from them, okay? Thank you. Seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1411-2025 stands approved. Please make sure you add Councilwoman Jenny Spencer. Next one is ordinance number 1226-2025 as amended by Councilmember Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance to rename, are we moving this one, Councilman? This one passed? Okay, yeah, okay, got it. Is as amended. Okay, if you guys come on. One of my favorites, Ms. Andrzejewski, come on to the table. All right, ordinance number 1226-2025 as amended by council members Hairston and Griffin by departmental request, an emergency ordinance to rename the Department of Economic Development to the Department of Development by amending the title to Chapter 144 and various codified ordinances to amend Section 144.02 as amended by ordinance number 1655-80 passed July 31st, 1980, relating to the director's duties to enact new Section 144.021 to establish a new office, to amend 183.021 as amended by ordinance number 837-2017, passed August 16th, 2017, relating to the land reutilization programs to establish a special revenue fund and to authorize the hiring of an additional employee. And the amendments, I will read them just because this is a very important piece of legislation, but they are on your tablet. There is no legal objection to this legislation if amended as follows. 1, in Section 5, add amended Section 183.021B9, line 7, after paid from, strike Fund 17 SF 965 and from, and insert Special Revenue Fund number 17 SF 965 and number 2 in Section 7, line 1 and in line 5, strike 7 in quotations 17 SF 96 and insert in quotations 17 SF 964 in both places, and in line 4 strike in quotations Section 3 and insert in quotations Section 5. Number 3, insert Section 8 to read as follows. In quotation, Section 8, that the Director of Finance is authorized to transfer an amount not to exceed $450,000 from the Department of Community Development's Fund Number 15 SF 469 to the Department of Development, or have a written memorandum of understanding from the Department of Community Development to fund the home program in the amount not to exceed $450,000. Number 4, renumber existing sections 8, 9, 10, and 11 to new Section 9, Section 10, Section 11, and Section 12. Number 5, insert new Section 13 to read as follows. Section 13, that this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced on January 1, 2026. Number 6, renumber existing Section 12 to new Section 14. And this is dated 11/20/25, signed by Kevin Roberts, Chief Assistant Director of Law. Director and Chief.
Thank you, Council President, members of the body. Excited to be here for you today. We spent approximately 3 hours at the table last week for Chairman Harrison and DPS, which I think is important because I think this is one of the more meaningful changes to city government that I've seen in my time paying attention in the civic structure. Here today with Director Jove Rose Bordeaux Small of the Department of Economic Development, as well as Ms. Trudy Andrzejewski from the Department of Community Development. Not with us today. We've slimmed this down a little bit because this was a pretty big presentation last week. Not with us today is Taylor Jones, who works in my office, who just did a ton of work around this, so I want to make sure I take a second to acknowledge her. But, really, this is kind of our overview. It's, what are we trying to accomplish when we're here today? So what we're doing here really is we're renaming the Department of Economic Development to the Department of Development. We are going to amend the director powers through legislation. That is primarily due to the fact that the city land bank kind of runs up through the Department of Community Development, so we need to ensure that this new director of development has the ability to kind of oversee those land bank issues. This will allow for the transfer of all surplus land into the appropriate city land bank. I say appropriate city land bank because we have multiple of them. Via state law, we need to continue to maintain a separate commercial land bank from a separate residential land bank. But when we have excess properties, we're going to be able to now make sure it goes into the right one. This is going to allow for the transfer of 18 existing staff positions from the Department of Community Development using their existing federal funding, right? We are trying to minimize impact to the general revenue fund through the work that we're doing here today. So what this, in essence, does is it picks up the Housing Development Office in Community Development, the Land Bank Office, and the Asset Redevelopment Office. Those are, in essence, their Housing Development Bureau and their Neighborhood Revitalization Bureau, and it puts it into the Department of Economic Development, creating this new Department of Development. And then within there will be a new Office of Land Strategy. This will also move the function of property disposition from the Mayor's Office of Capital Projects in here, but not the staff, right? The Mayor's Office of Capital Projects does important work related to existing city assets. We do not intend for this new department to be managing existing city leases and things of that nature, right? This is about strategic movement forward. And then this will add in the 2026 budget 5 new positions, but there is included in this legislation today 1 new headcount for the Deputy Director of Land Strategy so that it becomes available immediately. I think everyone in this room knows that hiring does not happen overnight, and so we want the ability to start marketing that position now. It's critically important, we think, for the work that happens here. And then, very important to note, with the legislation that's going to be before you does not do, right, this is not changing land bank policy. This is not removing council oversight or authority on the disposition of land bank as it comes in or out. Right? And again, those policy conversations are great to have, but that is not what this is. As I get into this a little bit, important for everyone to recognize that this is not something that kind of came up out of thin air. I believe you are all aware of the City of Cleveland operational strategic plan that was launched in the fall of 2023. Right? There was a lot of engagement around that, including with council, different focus groups, things of that nature. And one of those recommendations that came out of that was to restructure and consolidate the city's real estate functions into a singular department. I will explain why in just a minute, but I think also important for everyone to note that there were a lot of things that were studied as potential options in that. I think many of you know that the Department of Economic Development was actually spun out of the Department of Community Development. I believe that was in 1987 under the Voinovich administration. So yes, looked at everything from consolidation of both, Director Bordeaux Smalls originally from Boston, right? The Boston Planning and Development Agency, where you've got community development, economic development, planning, all in one place. Looked at the consolidation of community and economic development back into one entity. And ultimately, I think the idea emerged of creating this new Department of Development, which allows you with a roughly 50-person department, which is still mobile and agile, for the Department of Development, a roughly 40-person Department of Planning, and a roughly 50 or 60 person Department of Community Development, right, which allows all of them to be more nimble and focus on things to move everything forward. And why are we doing this, right? This current system isn't working. I don't think that is a shock to anyone in this room at this table, right? Land incentives approval split across too many departments. 6 of them to be exact, which is kind of wild sitting here. Those processes are disconnected from each other. We spend way too much time sending people all over Cleveland City Hall to overlapping contacts, right? And it's like, I know that is confusing for people on your end. I know it is confusing even for people in the administration. It is even worse for people outside of the building, right? And so trying to streamline these things, again, even on the real estate side of things. And again, this is, by the way, this is what that looks like in kind of an org chart fashion with all these different departments. You have you've got economic development doing acquisition and disposition, community development doing acquisition and disposition, Mayor's Office of Capital Projects doing acquisition and disposition. All 3 of those places, by the way, do acquisition and disposition differently, right, which is not great. You have a land bank in the Department of Economic Development. You have a land bank in the Department of Community Development. You have multiple people managing those. And so oftentimes you have all these different departments on different floors with different people working on the same projects in a very disconnected manner, which leads to confusion and a lot of challenges. And so genuinely trying to come up with something that is a more simplified, easier for people to access services here, easier for you to be able to work with your constituents in navigating here. And so a few goals and objectives of what we're trying to do here. So 1, having a clear front door for people that are looking to make major investments in the city of Cleveland, whether that be a development project or a redevelopment project. Excuse me. Increased accountability, right? If you look at that code org chart tree, I'll go back to it real quick. Like, it goes up even through separate chief structures, right? So there have been, even in my time here, you might have something where, you know, somebody in economic development and the chief of integrated development were aligned on something, but like going into the other chief structure can take months of conversations and meetings to try to get alignment and move things through. So again, we feel this will bring to increase accountability through that. Leveraging our tools, right? By placing all of our real estate tools and resources and those assets in one place, like this allows for comprehensive neighborhood revitalization, right? Like, to me, that is what this is all about. As I've said to several of you when we've talked about this, it's like, just try to imagine, you know, pick a point on the main street in your ward, any commercial corridor that sits right there. You now have in one place the tools to look at that spot on your commercial corridor. Maybe it's an intersection. You've got a couple of buildings that are run down. You can now use storefront renovation program. You can use incentives for small businesses to help go into those buildings. You can look at maybe acquiring some of the vacant commercial land next to it for future redevelopment's sake. And then you can look at those residential pieces that surround it, like draw a quarter-mile radii around those things, issue an RFP. Like, all of those things now exist in one place for a singular conversation of how that can move that forward. And I think that really truly leads to empowering our employees, right? Creating a more collaborative environment for allowing those employees to do more meaningful and transformational work. And I firmly believe this allows us to look at our land more strategically, right? We have over 18,000 vacant parcels of land in the city of Cleveland, all over the place. You know, we're a city that's gone from nearly 1 million residents to a city of 365,000 residents. This allows us to kind of think about that land more strategically and like what drives civic value. And so with that, you know, again, sorry. It's stuck in there. Yeah, probably. So ultimately, kind of nuts and bolts of what we're doing here, right? This process will take the Housing Development Office, Land Bank Office, and Asset Redevelopment out of Community Development, move it into Economic Development with that land strategy, which, again, that's 18 staff positions. It's 5 new staff positions that are created coming out of that. And then, you know, this is where I kind of, that vision for a rebalanced structure. You know, if you look at the 4 departments that exist within integrated development, you know, I think that this kind of recenters us in a variety of ways. You've got building and housing, which is focused on regulation and preservation, right? They're the enforcement arm of what goes on here. Planning, which should really be more focused on what is that overarching vision for what we want to see in our city. And I feel strongly that this allows community development to now focus on that most critical and important act of neighborhood stabilization and also the housing policy piece, which then allows the Department of Development to truly focus on essentially implementation. And it's kind of silly, but I keep thinking about this like a coloring book, right? It's like if you've got planning and community development are like drawing the lines around the coloring book we can draw on. This new Department of Development is the one that's coloring it in. Building and Housing can yell at you if it colors outside of the lines a little bit. But ultimately, I know we have had a ton of conversation about kind of what comes next for community development as a part of this. And one thing that I've said over and over, in particular to employees within that department, there is critical and important work that takes place in the Department of Community Development. That's not changing. We are going to do everything that we can to support them as we build on that work. But again, it's like if you are taking out that Neighborhood Revitalization Bureau, which Ms. Andruski now leads, and the Housing Development Bureau, one, I think we're doing that because we're gaining something. We have the ability now to do things that we haven't been able to do before by putting all those pieces together. But that still leaves, within community development, you have the Residential Improvement Bureau, which is focused on home repair and like getting that to work right and work well. And there's a ton of work that's going on right now trying to get that ship righted. This is where I always say, my time, nearly 15 years in Ohio City, I would always say that was the overnight success story, 60 years in the making. Not one thing was built in that neighborhood without decades of work of tons of people working extraordinarily hard to fix up houses, lead community impact work, right? Like all that stuff is still happening there. The Program Operations Bureau and Joy Anderson, who's working in there, there are more contracts that pass through community development than any other department in the entirety of the city of Cleveland. It's work that you guys support all the time, funnel through there. And so allowing them to really focus on that. And then there's some really interesting stuff happening in their community programming bureau around fair housing. Their community engagement office is led by Brett Parsons. But I also think it's important too, a lot of the housing policy work, and have spent a considerable amount of time talking with Mr. Titron about some of the work that you guys are looking at from a policy perspective. I like how this starts to lay some divisions of power, right? While the Department of Development is really focused on implementation, I think by having that policy level work around housing, again, as we start to grow in certain areas, how are we looking at land trusts and things of that nature? The 10-year housing plan. If community development is working on a 10-year housing plan and planning is working on your overall citywide plan, like those two things together inform what a Department of Development is doing, right? So again, there's a lot of important work happening in that department. That doesn't change. And as a matter of fact, I think this gives us the opportunity to work with those folks and really focusing that work. I'm excited to work on that with them. As I've told many of you over the course of time, I think that is, the most important part of my job is actually working with these departments to help them reach their maximum capabilities, and it's something that I look forward to doing. So with that, I want to hand it over to Director Bordeaux-Small, Ms. Andruski. They're going to walk you through here. There are some changes that we want to make sure you see how this is set up and how it impacts things. We'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. This first diagram demonstrates the restructure that our team has been working on for the last 2 years. When Chief McNair walked into the department, there were 8 staff members. I believe I was his first or second hire. We now have a team of 28. And that was, entirely a part of this restructure. This diagram does a good job at kind of highlighting our expectation that all 3 teams, the major projects team, the business growth and site development team, and the neighborhood revitalization team all work together. And the leadership team and the operations team are really there to support them, make sure that they're following along the strategic vision of the department of the city. So this first reorg really was very intentional. We built it out to really create specialization, right? So neighborhood revitalization, major projects, business growth, and site development. We're thinking about accountability, clear lines of responsibilities across all the teams. I think this was really kind of fundamental and crucial to modernizing our department's functionality. But what did happen, though, as a part of this, was that it further highlighted the need for the change that we're requesting here today. This slide captures our evolution into the Department of Development. Here we have 6 major teams, and those being the leadership team, the operations team, the neighborhood revitalization team, the business growth team, the major projects team, and the newly established land strategy team. As Chief mentioned, all of these were really fragmented across the city, and we're looking to create a single clear path for development, right? To go from land to incentives to project execution within one department. And I think, again, demonstrated by this diagram is kind of the fact that all of these teams will be working closely together and will be leveraging each other to really create transformational change for the city. So I will try to go through these org charts as quickly as possible. This first portion of the org chart demonstrates the way we've structured the leadership structure. We are building a bench of high-level executives that will serve as deputy directors of each team. And so as a part of this request for reorg, we will be creating the deputy director of land strategy role. And that is why it's highlighted in red. The roles that are highlighted in blue are currently existing roles in the darker blue. And then in the green are existing mayor's office roles that we work closely with as a part of our department. The operations team, and I think what this slide highlights is the establishment of what I would like to call the post-closing team, something I'm really proud of. What we've done is, historically, project managers used to handle projects from inception to closing, which kind of left a lot in the hands of the project managers, led to a lot of mistakes. A lot of things were kind of overlooked, things were moving really slowly. And so we've kind of structured it in the same way that most banks operate, really. And so this team represents the post-closing team. They handle everything after a contract has closed. So delinquencies, kind of loan servicing. As a part of this section, is the fiscal team. We highlighted in red are 2 new roles that we're going to be adding, and that really is a function of added capacity. We're going to be seeing more volume, and so the fiscal department, who I'm very proud of, and they do an excellent job, they're going to need more hands, and so that's kind of what that represents. The two red roles. And then the compliance inspector, that is one of the 18, is that correct? 18 roles that's coming down from CD, and it is in that lighter shade of blue to indicate that it will still be CDBG funded. All right, the neighborhood revitalization team. As a part of our initial restructure, we've established this team of 6 neighborhood investment managers. They have been structured in the same way that the neighborhood planners are. Our expectation is that they work really closely with the neighborhood planners and establish relationships with the business owners and the commercial corridors for the regions that they represent. This structure has proven to be an excellent one. in the last year, they have tripled the number of businesses that the city have been able to incentivize and participate in. So that's huge, and we only expect that to increase. The other thing that's relatively new as a part of this structure is that the storefront renovation program has come down from CD as well. The thought there was that it would be taken away from CDBG dollars, making it a lot more flexible. And I think the pairing with the neighborhood investment managers is a strong pairing, and we'll really start to feel that in the commercial corridors. And I will allow Trudy to kind of speak through this portion of the org chart.
Awesome. Thank you, Director. Thank you, Council. The Land Strategy Office will include the two offices I've had the opportunity to lead over the past year and a half, which are the Land Bank Office and the Asset Redevelopment Office, and also adds critical capacity to enable us to better serve residents as well as businesses and nonprofit entities. The positions in red, again, are part of that handful of 5 new positions. The positions in light blue are all of our existing team members. So currently budgeted, although not all of those positions are currently filled. Walking through the chart from left to right just quickly, we'll formally have a land bank manager back in place. We'll expand the existing team from 3 to 5 land bank staff members. And this office will remain our critical front door to direct work with residents and partners who are looking to invest in Cleveland neighborhoods through their land. I think this is one of the ways that I have the great opportunity to interact with you all, so looking forward to kind of doing introductory sessions in early 2026 to look more at the pieces like policy that we're not covering in this legislation, but really take a deeper dive into those things together. With increased capacity here, I'm really excited about our opportunity not just to keep the wheels turning, but we're already drafting new program areas focused on matters like neighborhood stewardship for residents who perhaps want to take care of a lot that's on their block, but perhaps they don't live immediately next door. We are reevaluating opportunities to promote owner-occupied housing development in a more accessible way, and we're also making just our bread and butter transactions flat out easier in the land bank office. We'll have a real estate attorney on staff dedicated specifically to our work. As you all know, every transaction that we do requires a legal instrument to be drafted, recorded, et cetera. So having an attorney a part of our team will dramatically, I believe, assist our efficiency, but also allow us to handle some of those more nuanced transactions that often get pushed to the side because they're harder to tackle. So I'm looking forward to that added capacity. Data and mapping team is under our data architect and GIS specialist set up here. This really will help us put policy into place, right? Visualizing our work from both a strategy perspective and a communication and storytelling perspective, I think is really vital to the work that we do and something that we have been lacking historically. And then as we round out the team, the head of urban redevelopment strategy will lead what we now know as the Asset Redevelopment Office. And that's our redevelopment RFPs and RFQs that we've had the opportunity to work with many of you on. We'll grow from 1 current full-time team member to a leader with 4 team members who are creating those proactive real estate development opportunities. And we'll also add a real estate analyst to this team. So they'll help with things like market evaluations, also things like tracking forfeitures to make sure we can be more proactive in site assembly for things that we have access to through the forfeiture pipeline. Just wanted to wrap by saying it has been such an honor to work with the existing land bank and asset redevelopment teams through CD. And I'm really excited about the potential we can unlock by intentionally adding capacity in this way and expanding the skill sets where we've seen gaps in the past couple of years, but also great opportunities to really improve the type of work that we do, and doing it amongst a broader team that can collaborate and implement with us. So thank you.
Thank you, Trudy.
This last slide really represents the heart of Cleveland's economic competitiveness. This team is our major projects team alongside our business growth team. They work really closely together to provide exceptional customer service to businesses that are existing and businesses that are looking to come to Cleveland and grow. We have created, to the right, you'll see the roles senior project manager and project manager that work alongside the deputy director of business growth, who is David Lucas, and the executive attraction officer, that's also a new role, and Jennifer Scheel is the person that we've hired to do that work. It really positions Cleveland to be proactive and to be out there and be competitive and bring businesses that we're intentionally targeting to come and support our local economy.
They got to speed it up.
I think that's all really for this slide. And
Okay, so really, I think just summation here, again, just want to be clear about what this legislation does, right? It's changing the name of economic development into Department of Development. It does amend powers largely around the land bank, things that go through there. It allows for blanket transfer of surplus land that comes in and go to the appropriate land bank. It allows for the transfer of these positions from community development into economic development, utilizing their community development block grant funding, does not change land bank policy or remove council oversight on those land bank parcels as they come through. And then, again, from a budget implication standpoint, right, ultimately, those 5 new general fund positions that are coming through in 2026, it all adds up to about a little north of $700,000. For what it's worth, I believe last year the Department of Community Development had over $600,000 in sales on land bank land, right? Theoretically, those dollars can be used to pay for staff too, so I think that there's some flexibility moving forward with there. But again, I'll say lastly, guys, we gave a whole presentation as part of this on the business development. I feel like in the city of infinite need and very limited resources, right, we spend an awful lot of time at this table and elsewhere talking about how we divvy up the crumbs on a pie, right? We're very focused on actually growing those revenue sources so that we can have more meaningful conversations around here. And then, again, ultimately, all we're doing is picking up a few 18-ish people and changing where they administer from, right, next to other people who do like similar work in ways that we think can radically change impact. And with that, we are willing to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And we had a robust conversation. I mean, we heard this on DPS. I do want to thank you and your staff for reaching out to council members individually, because we met, prior to the DPS, and it just shows you the success when administration reaches out to council members to brief them on legislation that's coming up. So I do want to thank you for that. I'm going to open it up to my colleagues. We have Councilman Polensek, and then we have Councilman Starr.
Thank you.
Daisy?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, and to my honorable colleagues and to the administration. There's 3 talented people at the table here. But let me just say this. To change the name is one thing, and to see delivery is another thing.
Yes, sir.
And so what I've come to understand here is that it's almost like Back to the Future in a day when when a council person or a developer came to the city, or some with an interested idea. Under the Voinovich administration, there was a TRICA. You met with a team of city planning, economic development, and community development. It was a team. So you didn't have to go in different directions. Council people, there was a team assigned to each ward. So we were able to get things done within a reasonable period of time. Today in 2025, it's more difficult to do a project and to get something done in the city than ever before. So I'm glad to see that there is some rethinking as to the way we do business around here, because I will tell you it's easier to part Lake Erie than get stuff done around here. And I'm not aware of Moses, and no one in city council is related to Moses. So I'm telling you right now, you cannot get stuff done around here unless you pull teeth and know the right people. So I am a supporter of the reorganization. This is what I need to understand. and you don't have to do it now, but you provide it to me, or the body. I want to know what is left in community development. Who's left in community development, and who they are, and what are they doing? And what are they assigned? What are their responsibilities? I need to understand that, because there's movement of people from CD into ED. As it pertains to new housing construction, who, will that be in this new department? Who's going to handle housing construction? Because there's major challenges there. I don't have to tell you, city plan, I have a minority developer who wants to build new houses in Glenville, but hell, heaven forbid he should have front-load garages. You can't do front-load garages, and the whole damn street is devastated, but you can't do a new house with front-load garages. Give me a frickin' break. Really? I mean, I've got a front-load garage on my own house. And so, I mean, there's just some stupid things happening here where you can't get things done. The other thing I want to ask is this. Who in all these charts here are going to do the proactive investigation and like right now, I'm reading everything I can. I'm reading the Wall Street Journal. I'm reading this. I'm doing this. I'm sitting on my phone at night looking at this graph. So now here's Family Dollar. And I'm thinking the parent company of Family Dollar now. I can't think of the name right off the Dollar Tree. They announced they're going to close 625 stores. Do we know how many in the city of Cleveland? What are we doing to be proactive here? I'm losing a Family Dollar right now. I've already had a Dollar General close right across the street from the Family Dollar. We know in many neighborhoods with our food deserts, this is the only thing we have, or the only things that people have available. So what are we going to do? Someone's going to have to tell me, what are we going to be doing to be proactive, touching base with like a Family Dollar or a Dollar General? What is your strategy in the city of Cleveland? What are you doing? I'm hearing there's going to be a wave of Save-A-Lots closing in the city. What on your flow chart, who's going to be that person who's going to be contacting or interacting with the corporate community, not just here locally, but across the country, so we can understand the trends that are taking place and how it's going to impact our neighborhoods? Because when you close these stores, there is a domino effect on the neighborhood. And I see that taking place, and yet I keep asking, well, who's touching base with these companies, these corporations? Who's doing the legwork? And I get the impression there is nobody doing that legwork or that upfront stuff. And then the other thing I want to comment here, Madam Chairperson, you have a specific person signed to the southeast side of the city. I have to tell you, and I'm going to be very blunt about this one, there cannot be winners and losers here at this table. We're all in this thing together or we're not. So somehow you're going to have to figure out, you're going to have people assigned to other sections of the city as well. You just can't, and I understand the issues of the southeast side. I mean, I remember when the southeast side was like the suburbs when I came into council. It was the suburbs. And because a lack of attention by the city, by previous administrations, the southeast side went through a tremendous decline. And now there's a line being drawn in the sand, and I commend you. But the line better be drawn in the sand on the northeast side of the city, too. And on the southwest side of the city, we got to have people who are going to be working these neighborhoods. And I say that because all three of you, I have great confidence in. I think the mayor made a great decision by appointing you, Tom, as chief. And I hear great things about Director Small, about her intelligence and her expertise. And we know Trudy has done a good job in the land bank. So I'm looking for productivity. I'm looking for things to happen because I'm frustrated. You can't get stuff done in this city. If I were to tell you, I mean, that doggone candy store on Waterloo Road, a freaking candy store, 8 months. 8 months. You would think that they're doing hazardous material. And 8 months until I sent a nasty email to you-know-who across the hall. And then he personally went upstairs and kicked some butt to get the doggone candy store open. That's the frustration around this table that I'm expressing on behalf of my colleagues. I mean, a freaking candy store, 8 months. So I got to have assurances that your new flow chart is going to work. And there's going to be some commitment to the other sections of the city of Cleveland, so we're not the stepchildren here. I've got tremendous opportunity and potential in not only my existing ward, but the new ward I'm picking up come January 1st. But we need help, and I want to say this again. Where do we have deficiencies on the east side is with our development corporations as well. So we not only are dealing with the historical disinvestment, because where was the bulk of the industrial base that left the city was the east side. So it affected our employment, it affected our jobs, the migrations that took place from the south to come up here, the migrations that came out of Eastern Europe, like my own family. I mean, we came here for jobs. We didn't come here for palm trees and beaches, and they took our jobs from us. Just look at the empty factories and plants on the east side of the city, or empty lots now, as you alluded to, Tom, about the 18,000 vacant lots. But, so there's got to be a strategy, and I'm hoping this, because I wasn't on the committee, but I watched it on a monitor, and I was trying to understand as best as I can. What you're proposing here, again, in my opinion, is going back to the future. But you got to have the staff, you got to have the commitment, and no section of the city should be left out. I want to say that again. No section of the city should be left out. Councilman Conwell and I have been talking about the northeast side. We need help. We need help. And as I sit here today, I came in here when there were 33 councilmen. Come January 1st, there's going to be 15 because of the population loss, which you just alluded to a moment ago. And the bulk of that's been the east side. People talk with their feet. They want, and I learned when I was going door to door, again, I heard point blank what residents want. They want quality of life. They want better neighborhoods. They want to see things happening in their neighborhoods. And they want the city to understand that you can put all the money you want in the lakefront, but it's not going to do anything for the east side neighborhoods. We all know that. That's unfortunately the sad part about it. So I'm on the opinion, I'm here to support this new reorganization, but you got to have the people in the right places, and we got to get going, and we got to be proactive, because in fact, I sent you guys the email about the Family Dollars and Dollar Tree stores going out from all the stuff I'm reading. We got to look at long-term impacts. So I'm here to be supportive, but the proof will be in the pudding here. I expect things to get done. I don't expect it to take 8 freaking months to get a freaking candy store on Waterloo Road again. I hope that stuff is over. So that's where I'm at. I want to be supportive, but I want to get that stuff from CD, what's left in CD, what they're going to be doing, how we're going to be proactive in the future, and I just will leave you on this point. What Habitat and Humanity went through to build 10 new houses in my neighborhood, all the process, and then to get whacked by the utilities for the water taps and the sewer taps, I would ask you, the administration, has got to take a deep dive. That is ridiculous what we are charging, especially nonprofit groups, to build houses in the city, those taps. It costs Habitat for Humanity a fortune, and yet we're sitting on surpluses in water and in sewer, and we're making nonprofits pay through the nose for the taps for water and sewer. That's ridiculous. That's got to change, man. We got to be proactive. Going into 2026, no one in Washington is going to help us. The Donald's not going to help us. Those good old boys in Columbus aren't going to help us, that's for sure. We got to be proactive. We got to be pro-job, pro-development, because that's where it's all about income tax, creating income tax opportunities for our citizens and for our city. So I'm here to be supportive, but doggone it, man, we got to be watching this like the eyes of Texas are going to be on you guys come January. I mean, I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, that was a lot, Chief. Are you going to respond to all
leave it
those
at that.
questions?
I'm frustrated.
And I share your frustration, and I know that you asked for us to send you some things to do. I will respond briefly. So through the chair to Councilman Polensek. So one, I think you all know, but I will say out loud, I care about every single block in the 77.8 square miles of the city of Cleveland, and we are doing everything that we can to move every one of those blocks forward. Right? And I know that some of these changes that were happening in the Department of Economic Development, I think, are starting to address some of the things that you had discussed that goes on there. You know, again, I say all the time, we don't actually have an affordable housing problem in the city of Cleveland, we have an income problem.
That's right.
We have been hemorrhaging jobs. We need to provide good quality jobs for Clevelanders. And so to the proactive part, there are kind of two sides to your question, you know, one of which is on retail, which is kind of the lagging side of things. We are doing a ton related to proactive business development work. And again, we went through quite a bit of that at DPS. Happy to come you know, to meet with you guys at a further time to get more involved in that. But Jennifer Shields leading up. This is the first time I found, and I've gone back in org charts 30+ years where we've had somebody focus specifically on business attraction in the city, where we are trying to go out and bring folks here. You know, you invested $50 million in the Site Readiness for Good Jobs Fund. I think when I started here, there was one site of 10+ acres that was shovel-ready in the entirety of the city of Cleveland. They now have over 200 acres of land under control. Most of that is on the east side of the city of Cleveland, and so that is a huge focus putting on there. And then David Lucas, who's focused on business retention and expansion. And so I think as that capacity develops, right, like he will have the ability to start developing some of those larger type of corporate contacts that you're talking about sitting on here. You know, also, I did just kind of want to sit on that kind of water sewer tap thing. Look, we're spending a ton of time focused on the proactive housing side of things, and we're looking at it. That is not a new issue. I would consider it more of a legacy issue as we've demolished many of those old houses, right? Like you also remove the water and the sewer connections in there. If you do them individually, it costs about 30 grand to pop it in, right? Like that's not something that the water department is charging. Kind of joked the other day, it's like, well, do you have to charge that? It's like, I don't know, do we want running water, toilets that flush, things of that nature in a home? If the answer is yes, you're gonna have to do that, and there's a real cost associated with it. Now, our utilities department can't just take that out on their own because, as you know, the Cleveland Water Department, right, serves many communities, and I don't think if they were trying to charge residents in Orange or Westlake or other places to put water connections in Cleveland, that might not go over particularly well. But I think it's a hurdle that we have to overcome, and we're looking at a lot of different ways that we can incentivize single-family housing development in the city of Cleveland. We have some ideas around that stuff, but I think it's a core issue as we coming on here. So again, happy to get you more information on community development. We are very focused on the proactive nature about how we are both attracting companies to come in here. And as part of that restructure, we do have a neighborhood investment manager for every region of the city. So while there may be one mayor's office person focused on the southeast side, as you know, there were a lot of resources that were diverted into that. And Mr. Owens is kind of coordinating all the different pieces, parts associated to that work. But we do have a neighborhood investment manager for each region that I want you guys developing close relationships with. And we are working on getting personnel that can work more cross-departmentally to make it easier for people to invest here.
Okay, thank you.
And last thing I'll say, I've said this a lot to people recently too. When I first saw this proposal doing it, it made a ton of sense to me too, right? Like I've worked with this city for 15+ years on the outside. You know, again, this is something in my opinion should have been done 20 years ago. That being said, operationalizing it is a hell of a lot harder than showing you a couple of slides on how it's going to work. But we're committed to doing this the right way, and we're committed to getting it done that actually shows real results. It is going to take a minute.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Chief. Councilman Starr?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll stick to this legislation on 1226. Just for clarification, do we have a total number of community development employees in that department as of today, December 1st, 2025, rather?
So through the chair to Councilman Starr, last I checked, it was like 78 or 79. Does that sound right, Ms. Andreski? Yes.
So around the 78 range is the total number of employees in the Community Development Department, correct?
That is correct.
And then through this change in this ordinance of 1226, 2025, we are looking to transfer 18 existing staff positions from the CD department over to this new Department of Development, which is replacing ED department. Through the chair, correct?
Through the chair, Councilman Starr, that is correct.
So therefore, we will have been left with 60 positions of employees on staff at Community Development Department, correct? Through the chair?
Through the chair, that is correct.
From this change of restructure, how many departments, or not departments, how many divisions will be left in community development after these 18 positions left? Through the chair.
So through the chair to Councilman Starr, it looks like there are 1, 2, 3. It looks like 5 bureaus.
It'll be 5 different bureaus?
Yeah.
After that, so currently, before we do this transfer, let me rephrase the question as well. Before we do this transfer, we have currently how many bureaus and divisions in Community Development Department? Through the chair.
Through the chair, it looks, depending on how this one is set up now, 6 or 7. Oh.
6 or 7? And then after we make this, if council passed this ordinance, we then would go down to about 5 bureaus in Community Development Department. Through the chair?
Through the chair, that is correct. We're taking 2 bureaus. Oh, Mr. Andreski, you want to?
Sure, if I may. Thank you,
Thank you.
Chief. Thank you, Chair to Councilman Starr. I believe there are currently 6 bureaus in the Department of Community Development, and by removing Neighborhood Revitalization, which I oversee, as well as the Housing Development Bureau, which currently does not have a head, there will then be 4 bureaus.
Yeah.
And those are community programs, residential improvement, the Contracts and Compliance Bureau, and I'm sorry that I'm forgetting the official name of the 4th bureau, but I'm happy to get that to you after this meeting.
Yes, can you get those?
Enterprise operations.
Enterprise operations, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Thank
Can we
you.
get that through the Madam Chair to our staff? Can you send that over to our staff so we can see those different breakdowns of what we currently have in place with community development? And therefore, similar to those questions with community development, I definitely would like to ask, how many total number of employees are there in ED currently? Through the chair.
There are 28.
So we have 28 in that position. With this ordinance, we're trying to transfer over 18 more, which will give us 46 employees into the new Department of Development. And that would be able to have us then create additional 5 new positions, which would take it up to, what, 51 employees?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, within that staff, from your projection and the actual goal, since we have the chief and the director here for ED current division, are you looking to possibly add additional more staff in the near future to your department if these changes were accepted through the chair?
Through the chair to the councilperson, as Chief mentioned, this is an undertaking, and I think what's important is for us to focus on this restructure and making sure that the teams are, the foundation is set before we look at bringing in more staff.
Okay, definitely. And then also, I would like to ask to the Madam Chair, to the chief, when we're explaining and dealing with this change, do we have to notify HUD of any one of these changes? Through the chair.
Through the chair, Councilman Starr, no, my understanding is no. Ultimately, these are still going to be federally paid employees, and so there will be reports that are filled out, like, based on the activities that they do. Does that sound correct, Ms. Andreski?
My bureau, thank you, Chief. My bureau doesn't interact directly with HUD funding. However, next year's our 5-year consolidated plan, so I'm sure all of these updates will be accurately reflected in that updated report to HUD.
All right, and through the chair, through Madam Chair, to the table, within the CDBG current structure, would that be left in the Community Development Department? Through the chair.
Through the chair, Councilman Starr, at this point, yes.
Okay, and then with these changes, are we going to open up the actual usage of how we can spend CDBG dollars instead of having these 3 buckets? Are we having any plans to update that through the chair?
So through the chair to Councilman Starr, as Ms. Andruski just said, next year will be the year that we can look at our 5-year plan with HUD, where we look at all matrix codes and kind of set our plan for how dollars are spent. I will also add that this is not unique, that there may be CDBG employees and dollars spent in other departments. Currently, the Department of Community Development has memorandums of understanding with a variety of different departments, whether it's the Department of Public Health, the Department of Aging, I believe Public Works, and Building and Housing, on how those funds are managed. They are all run through community development, but we do spend dollars both for activities and staff in other departments.
Thank you. And then also I will ask, through the structure of currently what we have in place with ED and CD, if a council person would like to transfer discretionary dollars such as NEF funds or casino funds to your department for usage in projects in their particular ward, are you allowed to accept a transfer from discretionary dollars in our funds that are general fund dollars back over to a department earmarked for a project in a ward? Is that something that you have the capabilities through the chair?
So through the chair to Councilman Starr, I believe this is something that we have been working on with both city council staff as well as administration staff. My understanding is that if council would like to allocate, and at this point I will speak because I understood it through the Department of Economic Development, if council were to want to transfer NEF funding to the Department of Economic Development for a specific program, you do have the ability to do that. And provided you have somebody in your ward that would like to access those funds, and as long as it's administered through the rules of that program, that can be done. But I think that that is the distinction, right? I'll use storefront renovation program because easy in my head. You could transfer dollars into the department's economic development fund for storefront renovation program. The department does have the ability to geo-specifically code those to a certain area, right? And then if somebody wanted to apply for those, as long as it's administered the same way as any other project in that, that is allowable.
Yep, so therefore, that means I wouldn't necessarily need a third party to be able to do an application when I can transfer it over straight to the department because it's an activity in a program that you currently have up and running through the chair.
Through the chair to Councilman Starr, again, as I understand it, council has the ability to transfer funds into a program so long as an applicant were to meet all the rules of that program. That is legally allowable.
Now, the reason why I bring that point up because I see how we can do it with ED department, but when I try to do it through another department, I'm getting told different from our staff or from a staff, and I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between each department. Everybody is a department. Everybody is in 6001 Lakeside. You know, because one of the things that is often frustrating that I've experienced the last 4 years, and it's not anyone at this table, is the fact that people are trying to misinterpret what the lawmakers in the city of Cleveland makes based on what their knowledge is, based on what they feel like doing. And I'm not going to deal with that the next 4 years. There's no sense of us having discretionary funds and we trying to get it out to the door. And instead of me having to get somebody to front the dollars up, why don't I give it to a department who does these different activities, who does these different programs, who can administer the dollars and get it out into the neighborhoods. The number one concern as an elected official is how do I help assist my neighborhood with getting things done? How do we get these buildings that are eyesore, these brick and mortar buildings that need to get up and running? How do we put dollars into them without asking somebody else to do an application? And then the application is back and forth all day. Next thing you know, we in the following year, and nothing has got done because too many people trying to administer stuff as opposed to getting things done the way that the council is asking them to work with the administration, not give their own opinion, their own views, their own values. They didn't get elected. They were told to do an actual job within the reason of law that you're allowed to do based on your department setup. And that's my frustration, and that's some of the challenges that I've been having. And also it's been understanding that people trying to question my competency when I'm looking at the legislation, I'm looking at the programs, and I'm looking at the activities and saying, hey, it's a transfer. Just like we got this finance transfer coming over with 1508, 1509, 1510. This is going to be a supplemental transfer that's going to be heard before us today. But when I'm trying to transfer dollars back to the general fund to be earmarked for a department, to be able to do activities and programs that they currently have in place, I'm getting told I need a community development corporation. Then hindsight 2020, next thing you know, there's paperwork issues, so the dollars never get out, and the residents in Ward 5 have to one suffer because everybody got their own attitude and got their own problem of thinking about what they ran, but they ain't ran for not one seat. And that's not no slight, and I'm just trying to express my frustration because I'm here to help people, not fight a battle with people who should be helping me to be able to help those. So I look forward to working with the Department of Development, Community Development Department, Community Relations, Health Department, any department in the city of Cleveland, safety, everyone to just get things done and stop putting these red tape and underlying problems in the way from helping these residents in the city of Cleveland. I yield, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Chief, do you want to respond? No? Okay. So next up, I have Councilman Starr. Harrison, any other questions before we move on to the chair of DPS? Okay. Councilman Conwell, and then we'll move to Chair Hairston to close us out.
You know what, through the chair to, yeah, to the director, and you mentioned the land up there. So you mentioned to me earlier in the year about the land bank. So the land bank will fall under, when you change it to ED to the new department. What is that? ED and CD, integrating them into Department of Development.
Yes, sir.
So the land bank will go under Department of Development. And you just said Department of Development. It's so hard. I mean, it's so hard to get, for example, some businesses don't want to come to Cleveland or whatever because of the inefficiency. Are you going to change some things up? Do we have a timeline that we can get the land? Because when you get that, then we can grow and we can do better in the city of Cleveland. Through the chair to the director.
Please.
Thank you. Through the chair to Councilman Conwell, one of the things that I most look forward to in this consolidation is specifically the point you touched on with businesses looking to access land bank property. So right now, our land bank, the residential land bank within CD, is the larger of the two land banks. We have over 18,000 parcels. Currently, we really should just have those residential parcels that are tucked into residential streets where houses once stood. But we have a lot of properties on commercial corridors, the ones that businesses are looking at, zoned commercial, industrial, et cetera. This consolidation, essentially, working across the industrial commercial land bank and the current residential land bank will help us solve that efficiency. Currently, our team in CD is handling that application and then that transaction, but we need to work with partners in another department in order to ensure that that type of project for a business development would move forward. And now we're cutting that additional step out. We'll be working hand in hand with team members in the Department of Development.
Because through the chair, the businesses, they get frustrated, man, because as I always mention, when you take so long, it costs them money and it costs constraints. That time to get the land, it bleeds over into to their cost. And so they go elsewhere. And if it bleeds over into their cost, then it also bleeds over into quality, and you get triple constraints behind that. You gotta be able to push that land, and then once they see, now, what I don't wanna see through the chair, if it's still the same way, and then we have to wait, you gotta, through the chair, you have to monitor your changes, Tom. If you're saying that, director, you're going to do these things, you put down the dependencies and milestones, and you have to monitor them. And if it's not going in that direction, then you gotta figure out, like, create a critical path. You create the critical path. If it's not going through the critical path right, then you gotta change it. Don't let 100 partials, let's say you have time constraints on them, and you're not changing it, you gotta watch that. You have to change it. I mean, I see that in government, and government frustrates me because government is inefficient. Through the chair to the director.
So, through the chair to Councilman Conwell, one thing I do want to note is what we're talking about today are structural changes in how we administer some of this work. I think it's
Right.
also important to note so much of the process work and technology changes that are also going on that I think that pair with this. You know, and trust me, I understand what you are saying. And when I joined the administration, it's like things I always knew, but then when you deal with it on a daily basis, it's like, wow, the amount of paper that we use to transact almost everything inside this building was pretty wild. You know, and so, again, in economic development, and thank you for your support last summer, I guess this past summer, when you enabled the purchase of Salesforce, which is looking at not just a customer relationship management system, but also the project management side of things. That is deep underway. I know Director Bordeaux Small, right, and her team are meeting like 2 or 3 days a week with the consultant for Salesforce, like 2 or 3 hours at a time. Then there's homework on top of that as that whole process gets digitized. The land bank is next up on that, as Ms. Andruski kind of showed, went through there. There's also, you know, GIS team and specialists that are going in here, which is digitizing like the mapping of all that so we know where they are, but the land bank will also exist within Salesforce so that like all of that stuff, like you'll be able to see it, right? Like you'll be able to like log in and like see those transactions and go, know whose desk it's on. Like it's going to be a different world in terms of accountability. So all these things are going hand in hand. The structure that we're talking about today, as well as the process and the technology aspects of this.
So you're going, through the chair, everything you're narrating to us, you're going to revisit it quarterly, or let's say you do your strategy reviews on a monthly basis, or what? Because these are new changes, and just changing the name to me don't mean anything. It's the outcome measures. Through the chair to the director.
Yes, through the chair to the councilman. Yeah, I mean, 100%, all of this has to be measured, and that's a significant part of what we're doing. With the added technology, we are going to be tracking a lot of our metrics, which, you know, will, like I talked about the neighborhood investment managers and their ability to reach and to access and support 3 times the amount of businesses that they've supported, in 2024. You know, right now, that's a metric that we have, and we hope to have a ton more that we're able to measure through these pieces of technology.
Yeah, because you know what I do through the chair. You look up and you see me looking right at you at your office, and you're going to blow money in my neighborhood. I turn around and you see me unannounced. Isn't that true? And I ask you questions about it.
Through the chair, yes.
Because it's serious to me. I mean, what we say at the table, and then actually to execute it, that's because the developers, I understand. If it's time in there, they're losing money, then they won't develop in your neighborhood. And place matters, and it hurts my residents. You mentioned workers. So you put money in there to the chair to train them to this new job, and you train them so you could develop your culture. Putting this in place to the chair, it's another part means nothing to me. I sit around walking around listening to you, but if you don't create that culture, the culture of executing in your department, and everything you have here, guess what? It would go for naught. Through the chair to the director.
Through the chair, I'm really proud of my team and the culture that we've been able to bring, and the hope and the intention is to continue to maintain that and build upon that culture within the department. Everyone on the team understands the value of customer service and efficiency and the impact, the direct impacts that has in the communities. And so that, I think that's a core value that we all understand. As far as training, it's, it's part of my budget. And it's imperative that, that everyone is trained appropriately. I have recently sent both ED and CD staff to go through the Grow America training to get economic development certified. And I plan to continue to look for more opportunities for the team to be cross-trained.
Good, because, training is ongoing. I see a lot of directors, they say they train their people, and then it's over with. But you got to catch someone, even if you caught someone doing something right, that's a job well done, that's a good thing, that's attaboy, whatever the case may be, and you constantly watching, you constantly training to change that culture. Because that culture of not executing, it really hurts us. And they look at the council member all the time, and when it's not being done right. And so that's why I visit you unannounced. So you change that culture, and I'm a happy person. Now, and I'm going to yield Glen Village. We spent $15 million on Glen Village, and the way it is, it's not good. You can't waste money. Do the chair to the director or you director or the chief. Give me some outcome measures on that, and then I'll yield.
So through the chair to Councilman Conwell, the previous mayor's transformation initiative, right, which targeted a handful of the city's hardest hit neighborhoods, including Glenville, Buckeye Shaker, as well as Clark Fulton. One of the core ways that we looked at supporting Glenville, and again, this is the previous administration, was through the revitalization of East 105th Street, as well as the creation of Glen Village. And, that was the first kind of new construction multifamily mixed use in that neighborhood in a long time. And I think that everyone felt that it was critically important that that neighborhood be able to see that type of growth and new development that came on. And to that point, I think it was a success. I think that there are always challenges when you walk into an emerging market and kind of just create a new building. And I think there are probably, hindsight being 2020, there are probably some things that if I hadn't been involved in the creation of that building might have done a little bit differently. And that being said, I think, we were able to find hopefully a good outcome for that with a small business owner that I think is able to take the reins and, do some really great work on the ground floor of that. The housing portion of it, I think, has been a tremendous success, right? Provided an affordable price point for a number of folks there. I think it adds some vitality to that. I know the Department of Economic Development has continued trying to do work to make further investments along and next to Glen Village to help support that work going on there now. So I think with both your support as well as some of those neighborhood transformation initiative funds, looking at bringing a vacant building back to life across the street, right? We're doing everything we can to try to cluster investments near each other to create some kind of places of vitality within our neighborhoods. And so, again, I think that there's been some starts and stops to the ground floor of Glen Village, but, that building also opened in the summer of 2020 at the height of a pandemic, which wasn't great, right? And so there were a variety of challenges with supporting some of the small businesses that opened up in there first, but it does seem like it's on a good path.
So you guys will start executing when, through the chair? We put $250,000 aside. We're going to cultivate some businesses.
Yes.
And the when?
So through the chair, that ground floor lease is, the Department of Economic Development is no longer involved in that project. We have given funds to help support Jeremy and Comfort CLE, who is operating that space now as an incubator, as well as his restaurant. Director Bordeaux-Small, anything else you want to add to that?
Nope.
Well, manage him. He got to do something with that. It can't just sit there as our money, and we put it there for the residents. And somebody got to tell me a start date on something. And I'm serious. That's crazy. You have 4 businesses that could open. We can cultivate businesses. We could put, in your mission, we can put these businesses out there. Once we cultivate them, teach them how to run their P&L, profit and loss statement. We can hire people, and we can benefit the entire city. And the building is just sitting there dormant, and that's crazy. That's crazy. Through the chair to the chief.
So through Chair, Councilman Conwell, I think this is the reality of working with many small businesses. You can do everything that you can to support them. You can invest in them in a variety of ways, but ultimately, the government is not in the business of operating those businesses, and so it is incumbent on Jeremy and his team to kind of allow that place to grow and succeed. Right? But we have invested significant resources in trying to make that project as successful as possible.
Did we give him $250,000 to execute on that project? How much did we give him?
Remember.
Through the chair, I think it might have been. I can confirm that with you, for you. But I will also say that, I think that the team will, I think as the neighborhood investment manager for that area, has been following up. And so I will get an update from him as to the status and where they are on their project timeline.
And Councilman, if you got any
and
follow-up.
I'm gonna end. Here's the other piece I see. I see a weakness in your piece there, prevention. You got people in the neighborhoods in Glenville, Collinwood, Southeast Side. They're gonna help businesses to grow, right? So, but if you see a risk or a threat of a business getting ready to close, you can't just let them start closing without coming back telling us what's going on, because that's the risk. You could develop a business here, but then lose 2 or 3 businesses, and then we're just going around in circles. You gotta have some kind of risk analysis, Mr. CP, in your plan, or risk management to tell us about weaknesses.
Through the chair, that is certainly a role that the neighborhood investment managers play. The purpose of that role is to be proactive, have
my time
relationships with these businesses so that when they are facing problems, they can come to the city and see how we can support them. I think that the Salesforce will be an incredible tool for that, because they'll be set, timed reminders like, hey, we haven't touched base with this business in X amount of time, like, let's check in with them. So there are a lot of things that we're putting in place to be more proactive in the way that we support our businesses.
So, Ms. CP, like, here's the thing. You look at Buckeye. They can go, this is important, because I watch your place too over there at Buckeye. You can put in 2 businesses and then 3 or 4 businesses fold. They're the experts, Mr. CP. They're out there watching. So before it folds or fall apart, they could tell us and we could do prevention. All right? It's not doing any good if we develop 2 businesses, but we lose 4 on Buckeye. And then you turn around and say, what's going on? You see what I'm saying? And then this blight, Mr. CP, creates crime and other this is bigger than what they're showing, because place matters. And if you lose 4 businesses on Buckeye or on Large Mill, whatever the case may be, they're out there in the community, and they need to have a risk in there, some kind of risk plan and what they're giving us. And that's what I'm saying. And Director Tom, not director anymore, the chief know?
So I'll, through the chair to Councilman, I will only say I have spent a significant portion of my career working with small businesses. I have more respect for the men and women who operate small businesses than almost anything, because the level of risk is insane, right? But for many of these people, it's an opportunity to live out their dreams. That success for them is simply finding a way to keep the lights on while doing something that they care about and they love. And I want to support that wherever it is we can. And I know that in today's retail is suffering greatly. There are a lot of macro issues that are leading to that, right? And the way that people shop. It is a tough climate right now for the average small business owner. And I appreciate that a great deal. And we will do everything and anything we can to support them in that environment, right? That's.
You know what, CP, grocery stores, like your grocery store, in this big, beautiful bill, that's cut 30% there, then the grocery stores next summer will suffer. Same thing with Medicaid and all of those cuts that's coming on. They got to, in their strategic plan, be able to see around corners and to be able to tell us what's going on. Because if they cut that 30% of SNAP, then we're going to have issues with more food deserts in our communities. So I'm there, I'll yield, and you know, I'll drop in and see you, because I don't just wait for the table to come. I mean, but I do that with all the directors.
Yes.
Thank you, CP.
Councilman Hairston.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. We sat through DPS for upwards of 3 hours, over 3 hours, rather, hearing this piece, really talking through this and vetting this piece here that the administration presented, council and the committee, DPS committee in particular, really asked some great questions and really dug deep into the ordinance that we are discussing today. Fully support the chief and the director, both committed to working closely with this body, in particular DPS, as they continue to flesh out their metrics, their policy goals, in the path that they are really trying to go down, to be collaborative with this body until we get that commitment from both the chief and the director. So as this moves further along, I know it seems like that there are some missing parts to this, but some of this is going to be flushed out and worked out along the way. The committee is going to work closely with them, although not me in particular anymore, but others who will be here will work closely with them to see that some of this work, some of the things that have been raised and the questions or concerns are truly dealt with as they move forward. And so ask the committee for their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hairston. Seeing no other questions, ordinance number 1266-2025 as amended stands approved. I was going to try to burn through a few more pieces of legislation, but I need to break for a minute for several reasons. So I'm going to ask everybody to reconvene about 1 o'clock if we can.
Council President, can I just say a very quick word? I just wanted to say, because I think this year in particular, me and my team in CD have taken more time to just honor transitions, and I think this is the last time at least I'll be at the table in front of a lot of council members here. And I just wanted to say thank you. I think I've learned a lot from many of you, and I hope that our paths continue to cross and interact, maybe in a different way in the future, but it's been an honor and looking forward to what's next for everybody.
Thank you, Trudy. Thank you. Appreciate your service to the city. I'm going to ask if we can reconvene at 1 o'clock p.m. sharp. 1 o'clock p.m. sharp, we'll reconvene, okay? Thank you.